As the first rays of sunlight pierce the horizon, the Giza Plateau awakens in a golden haze. The sand glimmers like liquid amber, and the air hums with the quiet pulse of millennia. From this vantage, the pyramids rise as colossal silhouettes perfectly aligned with the earth and sky, casting long shadows that stretch across the desert floor. There is a silence here that feels alive, as if the stones themselves are holding their breath, guarding secrets whispered only to the winds. The eye is drawn to the sharp lines of the Great Pyramid, its smooth casing long gone, leaving behind the raw, monumental limestone blocks that defy both gravity and time. Every edge, every angle seems deliberate, precise beyond what one would expect of a civilization that wielded no modern machinery, only human hands, ingenuity, and sheer determination. The camera or the imagination of the viewer traces the contours of these ancient structures, and the mind begins to ask questions that have lingered for centuries. How did thousands of workers, using copper tools, ropes, and wooden sleds, lift and position blocks weighing tons with such accuracy? How did they conceive of a design so mathematically perfect that modern engineers still marvel at its precision? The answer is not simple. It lies somewhere between human ambition, skill, and possibly knowledge lost to time, buried along with pharaohs who believed that their monuments were bridges to eternity. Standing at the foot of these pyramids, one cannot help but feel the weight of history pressing gently, insistently upon the senses. The wind whispering across the plateau seems to carry fragments of chants, prayers, and commands long forgotten, echoing the voices of those who toiled here. Perhaps for faith, perhaps for survival, perhaps for a legacy that would outlast empires. Each stone is more than a building block. It is a story frozen in time. The weathered surface of the limestone bears the marks of centuries of sun, wind, and sandstorms, yet it remains steadfast, unyielding. The desert itself seems to participate in the preservation, holding the pyramids in a cradle of isolation, protecting them from the relentless march of civilization beyond the horizon. And yet, despite their permanence, the mysteries of their construction remain tantalizingly out of reach. Scholars have pored over diagrams, measurements, and inscriptions, attempting to reconstruct the methods of an ancient workforce that moved mountains with little more than ingenuity, rope, and brute force. The more we discover, the more questions arise. Were there techniques that the world has forgotten? Were there forms of knowledge, perhaps spiritual or mathematical, that guided the placement of each stone with a precision that continues to challenge modern understanding? The Giza Plateau is more than an archaeological site. It is a theater of human achievement and curiosity. As dawn breaks fully, the play of light and shadow across the pyramid faces creates the illusion of movement, as if the stones themselves are breathing. The rising sun illuminates not only the grandeur of the structures, but also the sands, the scattered relics, and the footprints of countless generations. Here, time feels both endless and fleeting. You sense the echoes of the past mingling with the present, urging the mind to wonder, to imagine, to question. What motivated these ancient architects to reach such heights, literally and figuratively? Was it devotion, ambition, the promise of immortality, or a combination of all three? And then there is the silence, the profound, almost sacred silence. It is punctuated only by the distant cry of a hawk, the whisper of the wind over the dunes, or the faint clink of loose stones settling in the sun-warmed earth. It is within this quiet that one begins to feel the enormity of human effort and imagination. Thousands of hands, coordinated across decades, moved tons of stone, carved complex chambers, and aligned monuments to the heavens. The scale of vision required is breathtaking, nearly impossible to fathom, yet here it stands. And with it comes the sense that the pyramids are not merely tombs or monuments. They are statements, testaments to human possibility, ambition, and the eternal desire to leave a mark upon the world that outlasts one's lifetime. As we stand absorbed in the panorama, the mind is drawn to the subtle details, the gentle slope of the pyramid sides, the careful placement of stones that align with celestial bodies, and the hidden chambers that continue to puzzle explorers and researchers alike. These are not mistakes of builders working under duress. They are deliberate, sophisticated choices that hint at a knowledge so refined it seems almost otherworldly. One cannot help but imagine the hands of ancient engineers, tracing lines in the sand, measuring angles by the stars, lifting enormous stones in unison, orchestrating human effort with the precision of a symphony. The narrative begins to deepen, as we consider not just the engineering but the philosophy behind these constructions. What does it mean to build for eternity? To create something that will survive millennia, long after your own name has faded from memory? The pyramids are more than a feat of construction. They are a meditation on ambition, mortality, and the human yearning to transcend time. They speak silently yet powerfully to every observer who stands at their base and looks upward in awe. Each visitor, whether scholar, traveler, or dreamer, cannot help but feel a humbling connection to those who conceived and built these monumental wonders. As the sun climbs higher, casting the final light on the plateau, the pyramids remain enigmatic, commanding attention without uttering a word. They invite reflection, curiosity, and respect, and while modern technology can measure, analyze, and even replicate aspects of these structures, the true secrets, the mastery of materials, the methods, the vision, the audacity, remain just out of reach. They are reminders that some human achievements are timeless, not only because of their physical durability, but also because they continue to challenge the mind, stir the imagination, and evoke a sense of wonder that bridges past and present. By the end of this introduction, the viewer is fully immersed in the landscape, captivated by the silent grandeur of the pyramids, and primed to explore the rich tapestry of engineering feats, historical insights, and philosophical reflections that follow. The stage is set for a journey into the heart of one of humanity's most enduring mysteries, a journey that will probe questions of ingenuity, ambition, and knowledge that continues to defy explanation. In the quiet of the Giza desert, as wind stirs the sands and shadows lengthen across time-worn stones, one truth becomes clear. These silent monoliths are not merely monuments to a civilization long past. They are living echoes of human possibility, inviting us to ponder, reflect, and marvel. The Egyptian desert stretches endlessly, a vast ocean of gold and ochre, where the horizon melts into a shimmering haze under the relentless sun. From a distance, the Giza plateau emerges like an oasis of mystery, jagged limestone outcrops punctuating the rolling dunes, and the pyramids themselves rising as silent sentinels over a land that has seen millennia pass in quiet anonymity. The air is dry, carrying grains of sand that whisper across ancient stones, as if recounting the stories of civilizations long vanished. Isolation defines this landscape, not as emptiness, but as a deliberate guardian of memory. Time itself seems slowed here, bending around these monumental structures, allowing the pyramids to endure while kingdoms, dynasties, and empires have risen and fallen elsewhere. One can imagine that even the wind respects the sanctity of this place, moving with a subtle rhythm, brushing past stones and dunes as if in reverence for the monoliths that have stood unmoved for thousands of years. The terrain is harsh and unforgiving, yet within it lies a strange enduring beauty. The sands shift constantly, reshaping the desert floor like a living canvas, hiding and revealing traces of paths trodden by animals, humans, and the forces of nature alike. Jagged ridges and intermittent rock formations form natural barriers, which have inadvertently preserved the pyramids from both human interference and the encroachment of time. The harsh climate, with its scorching days and chilling nights, has tested every inch of these structures, yet they remain steadfast, a testament not only to human ingenuity, but also to the selective cruelty and protection of the desert. It is a land that allows only those who are determined or desperate to traverse it, and even the faintest curiosity is rewarded with a sense of awe and trepidation. Travelers and explorers who ventured here across centuries, from ancient traders to early European adventurers, were often struck dumb by the scale and silence of the landscape. Few had the endurance to fully appreciate it, but all sensed that this was a place apart, a desert that keeps secrets as easily as it keeps the sun at bay in its relentless afternoon glare. Historical accounts speak of early explorers navigating the undulating dunes, recording with wonder the sight of the pyramids rising impossibly from the sand. Herodotus, centuries before modern archaeology, chronicled stories of workers, pharaohs, and engineers, marveling at their achievements and recounting tales both factual and mythic. Later, during the Renaissance and into the age of modern exploration, European adventurers, cartographers, and scholars braved the desert's harshness, only to discover that even the most meticulous observations could not fully unravel the enigma of these structures. The desert seemed alive with resistance, revealing aspects of the pyramids while hiding others, granting glimpses of knowledge and yet withholding the full truth. Each expedition, whether scientific or speculative, returned with fragments, sketches, measurements, and stories that hinted at the precision, labor, and culture required to build such colossal monuments, but no account could fully convey the grandeur or the mystery inherent in standing before them. Walking across the plateau, the desert's textures command attention. Beneath the shifting sands, hidden paths and erosion channels trace the course of ancient Nile tributaries, suggesting how water may have been used in transportation and construction. Cracked limestone and scattered fragments of granite hint at the quarrying and hauling of stones, each piece meticulously placed to form the iconic shapes that have captivated humanity for generations. The ground itself seems to murmur secrets, footprints half buried, tools long disintegrated, traces of human toil that speak across time without uttering a word. In the distance, the faint outlines of mastabas and smaller pyramids remind us that these monumental works were part of a broader cultural and ceremonial landscape, one that required organization, knowledge, and a deep understanding of both the natural world and the spiritual aspirations of those who lived here. The desert, relentless in its austerity, paradoxically preserves the memory of these lives more faithfully than the living chronicles of many civilizations. Isolation in this landscape is not merely geographic, it is temporal. The plateau exists in a liminal space where the present brushes against antiquity and where one can feel the pulse of history in the wind-stirred sands. The vastness of the desert magnifies the pyramid's monumental scale, dwarfing any human presence and fostering a quiet reflection on the relationship between ambition and mortality. Travelers who have crossed this land, both ancient and modern, frequently describe an uncanny sensation of being watched, not by human eyes, but by the stones themselves. Perhaps it is the sense of human endeavor frozen in perfect alignment with the universe, a silent testament to knowledge, devotion, and the impermanence of life. The desert holds a mirror to those who enter it, reflecting their curiosity, awe, and even hubris, while simultaneously demonstrating the immutable power of time and environment. Environmental conditions have also played a role in preserving the plateau and its monuments. Shifting sand dunes have both concealed and protected the pyramids over centuries, mitigating the impact of human interference and natural erosion. Occasional sandstorms, which might seem destructive at first glance, have in fact acted as a protective layer, burying portions of structures and artifacts, creating natural preservation zones that modern archaeologists continue to uncover. The extreme heat, sparse vegetation, and lack of consistent rainfall have limited the growth of biological threats, such as invasive plant roots or water-based decay, which elsewhere might have reduced the pyramids to ruin. In this sense, the desert is both adversary and ally, a harsh caretaker whose indifference has enabled these wonders to survive relatively intact for thousands of years. Yet the desert's isolation is not just physical. It is intellectual and imaginative. Early explorers reported that once you stepped beyond the few inhabited settlements on the periphery, a silence descended, a silence so profound that every thought and movement seemed amplified. It is within this vacuum that the human mind becomes attuned to the subtle grandeur of the pyramids, noticing the delicate alignment of stone blocks, the slight variance in hue caused by millennia of sun exposure, and the faintest echoes of wind through the narrow corridors. The desert imposes patience, demanding observation and respect, teaching those who venture here that understanding cannot be rushed and that some secrets are revealed only to those willing to immerse themselves fully in the environment. It is as if the land itself is a tutor, guiding the curious toward insights about endurance, time, and the intersection of human aspiration with natural forces. Travelers' journals often recount the duality of the desert, its harshness and its beauty, its emptiness and its richness. Camels traverse the dunes with measured steps, their shadows stretching long across the sun-baked sand. Occasionally, one glimpses the skeletal remains of ancient riverbeds, marking where Nile waters once flowed or where canals may have guided the transportation of stone. Scattered pottery shards, worn statues, and fragmentary inscriptions hint at the lives that existed in this unforgiving climate. Traders, laborers, priests, and rulers, whose knowledge and culture formed the foundation for monumental constructions. Every artifact, Every geological feature, every grain of sand contributes to a story that is both fragmentary and complete, teasing the observer with mysteries that can be touched but not fully understood. By the end of this exploration of the plateau, the viewer begins to sense that the desert is more than a backdrop. It is a character in the narrative, a timeless witness to ambition, human ingenuity, and cosmic alignment. Its silence is eloquent, speaking through erosion patterns, stone placements, and the vast distances that separate the pyramids from modern civilization. And yet, within this apparent emptiness there is life, both past and present, the heartbeat of a civilization that understood the desert intimately, bending its challenges into a framework for architectural, spiritual, and cultural achievement. Standing here at the edge of the plateau as the sun rises higher and the wind shifts, one realizes that the pyramid's enduring mystery is inseparable from the desert that surrounds them. Isolation, harshness, and preservation intertwine to form a landscape both forbidding and awe-inspiring. It is within this space that we begin to appreciate the genius of the ancient Egyptians, the depth of their knowledge, and the courage required to build monuments that would speak across millennia. The desert keeps its secrets, as it always has, but it also invites us into contemplation, bridging time and civilization, reminding us that some mysteries are best approached slowly, reflectively, and with reverence. This realization naturally leads us to explore the origins of pyramid construction, the visionaries who conceived them, and the civilization whose ambition and ingenuity created a wonder that continues to defy explanation. As the viewer steps mentally across the dunes, following the contours of this timeless landscape, the story is poised to unfold. From the first quarry to the placement of the last stone, from human labor to celestial alignment, the journey begins in the desert that keeps secrets, and the secrets are just waiting to be revealed. The story of the pyramids is inseparable from the vision of the pharaohs, rulers whose ambitions extended far beyond earthly dominion, reaching into the eternal realms of the afterlife. Standing on the Giza plateau, it is almost impossible not to feel their presence, the invisible weight of those who conceived structures that would endure far longer than the fleeting lives of their builders. Khufu, the enigmatic sovereign of the Fourth Dynasty, is perhaps the most famous among these visionaries, his name etched into history not merely for political authority, but for daring to imagine a monument that would dwarf every other construction of his time. His ambitions were colossal. He sought immortality not only for his spirit, but for his memory, to ensure that the world would remember him when all other rulers were forgotten. The Great Pyramid, constructed under his command, was not merely a tomb. It was an assertion of human ingenuity, a celestial alignment of mathematics, labor, and faith, designed to bridge the mortal and divine. Khufu's vision was supported by a sophisticated bureaucracy, overseen by skilled architects and planners who translated abstract ideals into physical reality. The pyramid's alignment to cardinal points, its internal chambers, and its precise proportions suggest not random labor, but an extraordinary understanding of geometry, astronomy, and material science, knowledge remarkable for a society with no modern tools. Every limestone block, every passageway, and every corbelled ceiling was a deliberate choice, calculated to preserve not just the body, but the essence of the pharaoh's soul. The workers who toiled to achieve this dream were more than laborers. They were participants in a sacred ritual, bound by duty, faith, and an intimate connection to the pharaoh's eternal destiny. Stories suggest that Khufu himself may have walked among them, surveying progress, issuing decrees, and ensuring that every stone was placed with absolute precision. The pyramid was his mind made manifest, a vision solidified in stone, a testament to ambition and devotion intertwined. Following Khufu, his successor Khafre continued this legacy with an equally audacious vision. Though smaller in scale, Khafre's pyramid stands in perfect harmony with the surrounding landscape, demonstrating a deep understanding of both form and context. Khafre is also credited with commissioning the Great Sphinx, a mysterious sentinel carved from the bedrock, gazing eternally toward the horizon. Legends suggest that the Sphinx represents Khafre's divine authority, a protector of the necropolis, and a spiritual companion to the pyramid itself. The scale of these projects reflects more than ambition. It embodies a philosophical and religious worldview in which death was not an end but a passage, a continuation of existence in a cosmic order overseen by gods. Every corridor, every chamber, every monumental facade was conceived with a singular purpose: to ensure the pharaoh's place among the stars and in the hearts of his people for eternity. Menkaure, the third great pharaoh of Giza, contributed to this lineage of visionaries, his pyramid smaller but no less deliberate, a reflection of evolving techniques and the spiritual hierarchy that underpinned Egyptian culture. The triad of pyramids at Giza, each corresponding to one of these rulers, embodies a narrative not merely of architecture, but of philosophy, devotion, and ambition. Menkaure's choice to scale down the physical structure may have reflected practical considerations, yet his attention to artistry, proportion, and ceremonial detail ensured that his tomb remained harmonious with the larger necropolis. The intricate statues, finely carved chambers, and precise orientation speak to a civilization deeply invested in the metaphysical implications of death, the soul's journey, and the eternal resonance of human achievement. Observers today cannot help but feel that every choice was intentional, every detail deliberate, and every structure a profound statement of belief and aspiration. The ambitions of these rulers were grounded in deeply held religious convictions. Egyptian cosmology centered on the journey of the soul, the role of the gods, and the pharaoh's position as intermediary between humanity and the divine. Immortality was not merely a desire for personal preservation, it was a societal imperative. The pyramids, with their massive scale and precise construction, were built as vehicles for the soul, to facilitate a journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, toward eternal life. Funerary texts, including the pyramid texts inscribed in later generations, articulate a belief in resurrection and celestial ascent, emphasizing that the pharaoh's body, carefully preserved and interred, was essential to this process. Thus, every block of stone was more than a material object. It was a component in a cosmic machine, calibrated to ensure that the pharaoh's essence would endure, transcending the physical and temporal limitations of life. Yet these ambitions were not solely spiritual. They were also political, a demonstration of authority and power. Constructing a pyramid required not only resources and labor, but immense organizational skill, economic control, and social cohesion. The pharaoh's ability to mobilize thousands of workers, manage quarries, and orchestrate transportation of colossal stones across vast distances communicated a message as enduring as the monuments themselves. The ruler's power was absolute, his will immutable and his vision eternal. The pyramids were both symbols of devotion and instruments of propaganda, intended to awe subjects, intimidate rivals, and inspire future generations. In this sense, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure were not only architects of stone, but also architects of perception, shaping the historical narrative as skillfully as they shaped the landscape. Anecdotes from history bring these figures to life. Stories describe Khufu as a meticulous, sometimes tyrannical ruler, obsessively ensuring that every dimension of his pyramid met exacting standards. Tales of Khafre emphasize his blend of pragmatism and vision, balancing the demands of construction with the desire to leave an enduring legacy through the Sphinx and surrounding temples. Menkaure, meanwhile, is remembered for combining austerity with refinement, demonstrating that grandeur is not solely measured in scale, but in harmony and artistry. Each pharaoh left a distinct imprint, shaping the evolution of pyramid construction, influencing both contemporary rulers and distant generations who would study and marvel at their achievements. Their ambitions were not realized in isolation. Skilled architects, engineers, and artisans worked in collaboration, translating divine inspiration into tangible form. Techniques for measuring angles, aligning with celestial bodies, and organizing labor were passed down through generations, refined with each successive project. The vision of the pharaohs demanded a cultural ecosystem capable of sustaining extraordinary projects over decades. Food, shelter, tools, and coordination were all meticulously managed, reflecting a society structured to balance human labor with monumental aspiration. The interplay of vision, governance, and human effort created a civilization capable of transforming raw stone into symbols of eternal significance, a legacy that continues to fascinate modern scholars, engineers, and dreamers alike. The emotional resonance of this narrative is profound. Standing before these pyramids, one feels the pulse of ambition, devotion, and intellect converging across centuries. The Great Pyramid, towering above the sands, is more than a tomb. It is a testament to the audacity of human vision. The Sphinx, enigmatic and eternal, embodies the guardianship of knowledge, power, and faith. Menkaur's refinement speaks to the enduring human desire for balance between might and beauty, assertion and harmony. Together, these structures narrate a story of rulers who dared to dream beyond their mortal span, architects who translated imagination into stone, and a civilization that understood the delicate interplay between mortality and eternity, the earthly and the divine. As the narrative of the pharaohs and their visionaries concludes, the stage is set for the next exploration, the construction techniques and engineering marvels that allowed human hands to achieve the impossible. What methods, tools, and knowledge enabled the precise alignment, the transportation of colossal stones, and the creation of internal chambers that have withstood the test of time? The story of ambition and vision naturally transitions to the story of execution, the marriage of idea and labor, of ingenuity and faith. By understanding the rulers who conceived these monuments, we gain insight into the driving forces behind one of humanity's most extraordinary achievements, preparing us to unravel the technical and logistical genius that brought their visions to life. As the golden light of dawn spreads across the Giza plateau, the viewer is drawn not only to the pyramid's monumental scale, but to the very material of their construction, the stones themselves, silent witnesses to human ingenuity and endurance. The Great Pyramid's limestone casing, quarried from Tura across the Nile, gleams faintly in the morning sun, its surface almost too perfect to have been placed by human hands. Beneath this polished facade lies the rougher core blocks, quarried locally, each one weighing several tons, precisely shaped to fit into a complex geometric puzzle that has endured millennia. Granite, brought from Aswan some 800 kilometers away, forms the inner chambers and sarcophagi, its deep red hue a stark contrast to the pale limestone. The very choice of materials reflects a deep understanding of durability, aesthetics, and symbolic significance. Limestone represents purity and celestial alignment, while granite embodies strength, permanence, and divine protection. Every stone carries weight, both physical and metaphorical, serving as a testament to the vision of the pharaohs and the skill of their artisans. The quarrying process itself is a marvel of ancient engineering. Workers employed copper chisels, dolerite-pounding stones, and wooden levers to extract massive blocks from solid rock, often working under the relentless sun and with only human muscle to guide their efforts. Each block required meticulous planning. Fractures in the stone had to be identified to prevent cracking during extraction, and every cut needed to account for the stone's final placement within the pyramid. The quarrying sites were alive with human activity, a choreography of laborers, supervisors, and scribes, recording measurements and organizing logistics. Even small errors could compromise entire sections of the structure, emphasizing the extraordinary level of precision achieved without modern technology. Observers today marvel at the patience, coordination, and ingenuity required to manipulate such enormous materials with the tools available to an ancient civilization. Transportation posed another formidable challenge. The Nile provided a natural highway, yet moving stones hundreds of kilometers by boat or sled required detailed planning and an intimate knowledge of water levels, river currents, and seasonal fluctuations. Large granite slabs weighing tens of tons were carefully loaded onto rafts, guided by teams of men navigating treacherous waters. On land, massive sleds carried the stones across the desert floor, and some evidence suggests that workers may have poured water on sand to reduce friction, allowing the sleds to glide with remarkable efficiency. Every step of the journey demanded cooperation, coordination, and the ability to anticipate obstacles long before they appeared. Even in our modern imagination, the logistics inspire awe. The sheer scale of organization, the careful balance of human labor, and the orchestration of thousands of individuals to move stones with precision remain astonishing. Placement of the stones atop the pyramid introduced yet another layer of complexity. Ramps, straight, zigzagging, or circular, have been proposed as methods for raising massive blocks, yet scholars still debate which techniques were employed, reflecting the enduring mystery of ancient engineering. Each block had to be positioned with millimeter-level accuracy, aligning with adjacent stones to create perfectly straight faces and smooth surfaces. In some areas, the joints between blocks are so tight that even a razor blade cannot be inserted, a testament to both meticulous craftsmanship and extraordinary planning. The weight of each stone, the pressure exerted on those below, and the need to maintain alignment throughout tens of meters of vertical ascent demonstrate not only physical prowess, but an advanced understanding of structural engineering. The thought that such precision was achieved without pulleys, cranes, or modern machinery is almost incomprehensible, inviting speculation, admiration, and a sense of suspense as we ponder the methods lost to time. Modern studies of the pyramid's construction continue to illuminate the ingenuity of the builders. Analyses of quarry marks, unfinished blocks, and transport paths suggest a level of organization reminiscent of contemporary project management, yet achieved with human muscle and knowledge alone. The process demanded rigorous discipline. Workers needed to measure, level, and adjust constantly, responding to environmental variables, material imperfections, and logistical constraints. The result is a structure that not only resists the elements, but conveys a visual and mathematical harmony that continues to fascinate architects, engineers, and mathematicians alike. Every block contributes to a structural equilibrium that allows the pyramid to withstand earthquakes, erosion, and the relentless pressure of thousands of tons above, a testament to the fusion of intuition, observation, and experimentation in a civilization we often underestimate. The durability of the stones themselves adds to the mystery. Limestone, while abundant and relatively soft, was selected with care to endure centuries of sun, sand, and wind. Granite, harder and more resistant, was transported great distances, chosen specifically for interior chambers and sarcophagi where structural integrity was paramount. The knowledge required to differentiate stone types, predict their long-term behavior, and employ them according to their strengths reflects both empirical wisdom and careful observation over generations. Ancient quarry masters, architects, and engineers likely developed a system of trial, error, and cumulative learning that resulted in the perfection we see today. Each stone is a record, not only of physical labor, but of intellectual achievement, a tangible connection to the minds that envisioned and executed these massive projects. The placement and alignment of the blocks also carry astronomical and symbolic significance. Scholars have long noted the pyramid's orientation with cardinal points, the alignment of internal chambers with celestial bodies, and the subtle use of geometry to create visual harmony. These choices suggest that the builders were not merely constructing tombs, but were embedding cosmological knowledge into stone, creating a structure that functions as both monument and map, physical artifact and spiritual symbol. Every joint, corridor, and chamber reflects the intersection of material science, aesthetic vision, and metaphysical purpose. The precise alignment of massive stones challenges our understanding of ancient capabilities, forcing us to reconsider the scope of their knowledge and the level of sophistication achieved without modern instruments. Speculation continues about the methods used to move and position stones, reflecting both the limitations of historical records and the allure of the unknown. Some theories propose complex ramp systems, internal spirals, or counterweight mechanisms, each supported by archaeological evidence and yet incomplete in fully explaining the logistical mastery required. Other hypotheses suggest that a combination of techniques, adapted to specific phases of construction, allowed the builders to overcome challenges that still confound engineers today. This uncertainty fuels fascination, inviting us to imagine the ingenuity, teamwork, and daring necessary to complete structures of such immensity and precision. The mystery itself becomes part of the experience, enhancing our sense of awe as we confront the achievements of a civilization that continues to speak across millennia. The human element is central to this narrative. Thousands of workers, ranging from skilled artisans to laborers, contributed to the construction process, their lives intertwined with the monumental task of shaping stone to fulfill a vision that transcended generations. Evidence suggests that workers were well fed, organized into crews, and perhaps even motivated by spiritual or civic pride, emphasizing the social cohesion necessary to achieve the impossible. The labor was grueling yet purposeful, Each block placed was both a personal contribution and part of a grand cosmic plan. In imagining their toil, we feel both the physical strain and the psychological weight of participating in a project of eternal significance, a bridge between human effort and divine aspiration. The desert environment compounded these challenges. Extreme temperatures, shifting sands, and limited water sources tested the resilience of both materials and workers. Yet these conditions may have also provided advantages. The dry climate prevented decay, while the proximity to quarries minimized transport distance for some stones. The builders' intimate understanding of their environment, its seasonal rhythms, the flow of the Nile, and the properties of various stone types, allowed them to harness natural forces to their advantage. Every logistical obstacle was an opportunity to demonstrate creativity, adaptability, and a profound connection between human ingenuity and the natural world. In contemplating the pyramid stones, one cannot ignore their enduring impact. The very materials arranged with such precision have resisted erosion, earthquakes, and human interference, outlasting countless civilizations that have risen and fallen around them. Limestone and granite become storytellers, whispering secrets of ancient methods, visions, and ambitions. Each block, perfectly positioned, conveys a narrative of human determination, intellectual foresight, and spiritual purpose. The viewer is left with a deep sense of wonder, recognizing that these stones are not inert, but active participants in a story that continues to unfold, bridging the gap between past and present. This profound understanding of materials and methods naturally transitions into the next inquiry: the architectural design and alignment mysteries that elevate the pyramids from colossal tombs to precise marvels of geometry, astronomy, and aesthetics. As we explore the genius embedded in every angle, corridor, and chamber, we begin to appreciate the holistic vision of the pharaohs, their architects, and the civilization that transformed stone into enduring monuments. By understanding the materials themselves, their sourcing, transportation, and placement, the stage is set for the next revelation: how these stones combine to form structures that not only defy time, but inspire awe, curiosity, and reverence even thousands of years after their construction. As the desert sun arcs across the horizon, casting long, shifting shadows over the pyramids, one begins to perceive that these monuments are more than tombs of kings. They are celestial instruments, harmoniously aligned with the cosmos itself. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, with its precise orientation, is a testament to the Egyptians' extraordinary astronomical knowledge. Its sides face the cardinal points with uncanny accuracy, north, south, east, and west, deviating by mere minutes of arc. Such precision suggests careful observation over decades, perhaps even generations, using tools that by modern standards seem astonishingly rudimentary. The alignment was not incidental. It speaks to a civilization deeply attuned to the heavens, where earthly monuments mirrored the patterns and rhythms of the cosmos. This celestial synchronization extends beyond simple cardinal alignment. Scholars have long noted that certain internal passages and shafts appear to point toward significant stars. The southern shaft of Khufu's King's Chamber, for instance, aligns with the star Al-Nitak in Orion's belt during the time of construction, while the northern shaft may have been directed toward Thuban, the pole star of the era. These connections suggest a symbolic correspondence between the pharaoh's soul and the eternal movements of the stars, a belief system in which human life, death, and divinity were intimately intertwined with cosmic order. The pyramids become not only architectural feats, but metaphysical instruments, bridging the terrestrial with the celestial, embodying a vision of the universe that merges geometry, astronomy, and spiritual philosophy. The Nile, lifeblood of Egypt, is another key axis in this celestial human design. The pyramids are situated on the west bank of the river, the side associated with death and the afterlife in Egyptian cosmology. The river's flow, marking the passage of life, mirrors the heavens above, creating a symbolic alignment that unites the cycles of day and night, life and death, earth and sky. Ancient Egyptians likely observed the seasonal flooding, the solar and stellar cycles, and the rhythms of nature to inform their placement of monumental structures. Every decision, from orientation to distance between monuments, reflects a deliberate attempt to harmonize human endeavor with cosmic patterns, creating spaces where the physical and spiritual realms intersect. Such alignments required not only spiritual vision, but technical mastery. Surveying techniques were sophisticated, employing instruments such as merkets, plumb bobs, and sighting rods, coupled with careful observations of celestial bodies over extended periods. Teams of skilled astronomers and architects would have collaborated to translate cosmic observations into precise construction plans, ensuring that every stone contributed to the overall alignment. The result is a monument that functions on multiple levels, as a tomb, a statement of power, a ritual site, and a celestial map, simultaneously reflecting human ingenuity and reverence for the cosmos. The symbolic significance of stars and celestial bodies permeated Egyptian religious and cultural thought. Orion, associated with Osiris, symbolized resurrection and eternal life, while the sun's daily journey mirrored the pharaoh's spiritual voyage through death and into the afterlife. By aligning the pyramids with these stars, the builders were embedding their religious cosmology into the very stone, creating structures that served as both tomb and astronomical instrument. This integration of science and spirituality suggests a worldview in which observation of the heavens was inseparable from moral, philosophical, and religious understanding. A civilization whose monuments encoded layers of meaning accessible to both the living and the divine. The precision of these alignments is particularly striking when considering the limitations of available technology. Without telescopes, compasses, or modern surveying equipment, the Egyptians achieved accuracy that continues to astonish contemporary engineers. The careful leveling of the base, the alignment of the faces, and the orientation of internal shafts all point to deliberate planning, careful observation, and an extraordinary ability to translate celestial knowledge into practical construction. Some scholars propose that they may have used the stars' shadows, particularly circumpolar stars, to establish true north, while others suggest observation of solar risings and settings over the course of the year. Regardless of the method, the result is a structure that resonates with both precision and poetic symbolism. These alignments are not merely functional. They convey a sense of awe, wonder, and reverence for the universe. Standing on the plateau at sunrise or sunset, one can imagine the builder's intention: to anchor the pharaoh's journey in cosmic order, to provide a celestial compass for the soul navigating the afterlife. Every stone, every chamber, every corridor contributes to this orientation, transforming the pyramid from mere architecture into a bridge between human mortality and the eternal heavens. The monuments become a narrative in stone, telling stories of ambition, faith, and the human desire to understand and integrate with the greater cosmos. Furthermore, the interplay between pyramid geometry and astronomy may have encoded knowledge lost to history. Some theories suggest that the proportions of the Great Pyramid reflect not only practical considerations, but also the dimensions of the Earth, the distances to celestial bodies, or mathematical constants such as pi and the golden ratio. Whether coincidence, intentional design, or a combination of both, these relationships inspire reflection on the sophistication of ancient knowledge and raise questions about the transmission of technical and spiritual insight across millennia. The possibility that the Egyptians integrated astronomical observation, geometry, and sacred philosophy into a single cohesive design continues to challenge modern assumptions about ancient capabilities. In addition to the pyramid's alignment with stars and cardinal points, their relationship to surrounding monuments reinforces the notion of a cosmic plan. The three major pyramids of Giza appear to mirror the belt of Orion, suggesting that the landscape itself was a canvas for astronomical symbolism. Temples, causeways, and satellite pyramids further complement this design, creating a network of structures that mirrors both celestial and terrestrial order. This deliberate planning speaks to an advanced understanding of spatial relationships and symbolic coherence, elevating the necropolis from a collection of tombs to a unified cosmological landscape. The emotional impact of these alignments is profound. Observers often report a deep sense of connection to the universe, a feeling that the pyramids were designed not only to awe, but to orient the human spirit within a greater cosmic framework. The knowledge that these structures were conceived with both precision and symbolic intention enhances their mystery, prompting reflection on the interplay between human ambition and the infinite universe. The combination of technical mastery and spiritual significance transforms each pyramid into a timeless dialogue between earth and sky, mortality and eternity, the known and the unknowable. By examining celestial alignments, we begin to glimpse the advanced knowledge that the ancient Egyptians possessed. Knowledge that may have been lost to time, but continues to resonate through stone, shadow, and starlight. Every angle, every axis, and every spatial relationship reflects deliberate planning, deep observation, and an intimate understanding of the heavens. The pyramids are thus both monuments to individual pharaohs and repositories of collective wisdom, preserving insights into astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy that transcend centuries. This exploration naturally leads us to consider the next layer of mystery, advanced knowledge possibly lost to history. If the pyramids reflect such profound understanding, what other techniques, theories, or methods might the Egyptians have mastered that remain obscured by time? How did their comprehension of geometry, astronomy, and construction coalesce into monuments that have endured for millennia, inspiring awe in every generation that gazes upon them? The celestial alignments prepare the audience to contemplate the depth of ancient expertise and the enigmatic genius of a civilization whose achievements continue to captivate and mystify the modern world. In this way, the pyramids' alignments are more than technical feats. They are philosophical and spiritual statements. They invite us to reflect on our place in the universe, the intersection of human endeavor and natural order, and the enduring fascination with mysteries that challenge our understanding. By marrying celestial observation with monumental architecture, the ancient Egyptians left a legacy that is both empirical and transcendent, a testament to the power of vision, knowledge, and reverence for the cosmos. Standing at the edge of the Giza Plateau, one cannot help but feel a sense of humility before such precision, a sense of wonder at the integration of earthly labor and celestial insight. Each pyramid becomes a lens through which to view the aspirations, beliefs, and intellectual achievements of a civilization that sought to align its most permanent creations with the eternal rhythms of the universe. The celestial alignments transform the pyramids into instruments of reflection, inviting each observer, past and present, to contemplate the vastness of time, the mystery of the stars, and the ingenuity of human thought. As we step into the shadowed heart of the Great Pyramid, the viewer is drawn into a labyrinth of passageways, chambers, and corridors that have remained hidden for millennia. The pyramids are not merely solid triangles of stone. They are intricate networks of spaces meticulously carved into the massive blocks, creating an interior that reflects both practicality and spiritual symbolism. The King's Chamber, with its perfectly proportioned granite walls, is a study in precision, while the Queen's Chamber lies subtly offset, its purpose still debated by scholars. Even centuries of exploration have revealed only a fraction of the interior, leaving a sense of suspense that lingers with every step deeper into the pyramid's bowels. Recent advances in technology have opened new windows into these hidden worlds. Ground-penetrating radar, muon tomography, and robotic drones have discovered previously unknown voids and corridors, revealing that the Great Pyramid may contain hidden chambers yet to be explored. In 2017, the Scan Pyramids project detected a mysterious void above the Grand Gallery, a space roughly 30 meters long that has no known function. Was it a structural feature, a symbolic chamber, or an intentional hiding place for treasures and rituals? The uncertainty fuels fascination, inviting viewers to imagine what secrets may lie behind the thick stone walls, preserved and untouched for thousands of years. Each new discovery reinforces the idea that the pyramids were far more than tombs. They were complex machines of architecture, cosmology, and spiritual expression, designed to confound, inspire, and endure. Exploring these hidden chambers evokes a visceral sense of mystery. Narrow passageways, dark and cool despite the blazing desert above, create an almost sacred atmosphere. Every corridor is flanked by precisely cut stones, sometimes bearing inscriptions or marks left by the ancient masons, hints of the human hands that labored to create perfection. The air seems to carry whispers of the past, a faint echo of rituals, chants, or the footsteps of those who laid stone upon stone with painstaking care. The experience is immersive. We are not simply observing architecture, but walking through a monumental narrative of human ambition, ingenuity, and reverence for the divine. The engineering genius behind these internal structures is staggering. Some chambers are constructed with corbelled ceilings to distribute immense weight, ensuring that the roof does not collapse under the mass above. Massive granite blocks were positioned to prevent structural failure, demonstrating an understanding of load distribution that rivals modern techniques. Long corridors, often sloping at precise angles, connect chambers in ways that seem both practical and symbolic, guiding the soul of the deceased pharaoh toward the afterlife while maintaining the stability of the massive structure. The balance between structural necessity and spiritual design is evident in every angle, every joint, every hidden room, a delicate equilibrium achieved with tools that would be considered primitive today. Some hidden chambers may have been deliberately concealed to protect sacred objects or maintain secrecy. The symbolic purpose of these spaces is intertwined with Egyptian beliefs about death, resurrection, and the journey of the soul. The king's chamber, housing the sarcophagus, is surrounded by corridors and chambers that may have functioned as symbolic barriers, spiritual conduits, or protective spaces. The queen's chamber, with its enigmatic shaft pointing toward the heavens, hints at a cosmological significance, perhaps aligning the pharaoh with stars that represented gods or eternal life. These internal configurations suggest that architecture, religion, and astronomy were inseparable in ancient Egyptian thought, and that the placement of hidden chambers was a deliberate act of both practical and symbolic importance. The Queen's Chamber itself has long been a subject of debate and speculation. Unlike the King's Chamber, it lacks a sarcophagus and seems almost empty, yet its precise positioning and the shafts leading toward the sky imply a ritual or celestial connection. Could this room have served as a symbolic resting place for the pharaoh's ka, or spiritual essence, separate from the physical body? Or was it intended for secret knowledge, objects, or rites that have vanished over time? These questions highlight the enduring suspense of the pyramids. Each chamber is a puzzle piece in a story that refuses to be fully solved, inviting both scholarly investigation and imaginative wonder. Beyond the main chambers, the pyramids contain smaller, less understood spaces. Narrow shafts, antechambers, and tunnels that defy conventional architectural logic. Some passages abruptly end, while others are blocked with stones that may have been inserted as protective measures. Muon tomography has revealed that even seemingly solid areas may conceal hidden cavities, suggesting a level of sophistication in spatial design far beyond what was previously imagined. The possibility of undiscovered chambers keeps the pyramids perpetually alive in the minds of archaeologists, engineers, and historians, as each new discovery challenges assumptions and opens doors to further speculation. The role of these hidden spaces in cultural and religious practice cannot be overstated. The Egyptians viewed death not as an end, but as a passage into eternity, and the pyramids were meticulously designed to facilitate this transition. Chambers, corridors, and shafts may have acted as metaphysical pathways, guiding the pharaoh's soul toward the stars, ensuring resurrection and maintaining cosmic harmony. Artifacts, inscriptions, and symbolic carvings within these spaces hint at complex rituals, knowledge, and beliefs that have been lost to time. Every hidden room is a fragment of a worldview in which architecture, spirituality, and astronomy converge, creating a multi-dimensional experience that transcends simple burial practices. The psychological impact of hidden chambers is equally profound. Entering a dark, narrow passage within the pyramid evokes a mixture of awe, fear, and reverence. The sheer weight of history presses upon the observer, as if the stones themselves hold memory and consciousness. It is a reminder of human ambition and ingenuity, but also of the unknown, spaces that have resisted exploration, carrying secrets that may never be fully revealed. This tension between curiosity and restraint mirrors the very human fascination with mystery, the allure of discovery, tempered by the understanding that some things were intentionally hidden, protected and preserved for reasons beyond our comprehension. Recent robotic explorations have added new layers of intrigue. Tiny drones and robotic arms have penetrated shafts too narrow for humans, transmitting images of previously unseen walls, inscriptions, and voids. These devices, guided by modern technology, uncover remnants of ancient construction techniques, markings left by masons, and architectural anomalies that raise new questions. Each image sparks speculation, Did the Egyptians leave clues intentionally? Were these voids functional, symbolic, or both? The suspense created by these technological revelations underscores the pyramid's status not merely as historical artifacts, but as living enigmas that continue to challenge our understanding and imagination. The interplay between hidden chambers and cultural priorities becomes evident as we study the construction. Pharaohs invested enormous resources, labor, and time into these spaces, reflecting not only a desire for eternal life, but also the societal and religious structures that supported such ambitious projects. Artisans, engineers, and laborers contributed specialized knowledge, ensuring that each chamber fulfilled both spiritual and structural purposes. These hidden rooms demonstrate a culture that valued knowledge, precision, and symbolism, integrating art, science, and faith into monumental architecture. Every corridor and chamber serves as a testament to the civilization's complexity, revealing priorities that extended beyond the material into the metaphysical. In considering hidden chambers, we also confront the limitations of modern knowledge. Despite advanced technology, much remains unknown. Voids whose purpose is unclear, corridors leading to nowhere, and chambers whose contents may have been removed or lost. This uncertainty heightens the sense of suspense, inviting both intellectual curiosity and imaginative speculation. The pyramids become interactive puzzles, their secrets partially revealed but never fully solved, preserving an aura of mystery that has persisted for millennia. The narrative tension escalates as we contemplate what these hidden spaces reveal about engineering genius. The careful planning required to incorporate unknown chambers without compromising structural integrity underscores the sophistication of ancient Egyptian design. Weight distribution, load-bearing calculations, and material selection were meticulously considered, suggesting that the builders possessed a deep understanding of engineering principles that remain remarkable even by today's standards. Hidden chambers are not anomalies. They are deliberate, sophisticated components of a grand architectural vision, blending utility, symbolism, and cosmic alignment. Finally, the exploration of these chambers prepares us for the next layer of mystery, the cultural, spiritual, and potentially lost knowledge encoded within the pyramids. As we navigate these hidden spaces, the audience begins to appreciate the Egyptians' profound integration of architecture, astronomy, religion, and societal organization. Each chamber invites reflection, each passage evokes suspense, and each hidden room reminds us that even the most monumental achievements can conceal secrets waiting to be discovered. The pyramids, through their labyrinthine interiors, challenge our understanding, inspire awe, and maintain a sense of reverence for a civilization whose knowledge and ingenuity continue to echo across the ages. In sum, the hidden chambers of the pyramids are a testament to both human ambition and cultural sophistication. They blend physical engineering with spiritual purpose, celestial symbolism with architectural genius. They preserve the memory of a civilization that sought to transcend mortality, to embed knowledge in stone, and to align earthly existence with the eternal cosmos. By exploring these lost rooms and secret passageways, we gain not only insight into construction techniques, but also an understanding of the Egyptian worldview, a vision in which every stone, corridor, and chamber contributed to a timeless narrative of power, faith, and cosmic harmony. As the sun casts its relentless heat across the Giza plateau, one begins to appreciate not only the grandeur of the pyramids, but also the astonishing ingenuity behind their construction, achieved with tools that, by modern standards, seem almost impossibly rudimentary. The laborers and artisans of ancient Egypt relied on implements that were simple in appearance, yet incredibly effective when wielded with skill and knowledge honed over generations. Copper chisels, for instance, were soft by modern metal standards, but the Egyptians mastered their use, sharpening and tempering them meticulously to cut limestone blocks with surprising precision. Archaeological evidence reveals countless discarded chisels, often fractured or worn, suggesting an intense, repetitive labor process that demanded both physical endurance and technical mastery. Each strike of the chisel was deliberate, guided by experienced geometry, and an understanding of stone that modern engineers can scarcely replicate without machinery. Wooden sleds, often depicted in tomb illustrations, were the backbone of material transport, enabling workers to move massive stone blocks across sand and gravel. Recent experiments and archaeological studies suggest that these sleds were lubricated with water to reduce friction, a simple yet ingenious solution that allowed teams of dozens to haul enormous weights with relative efficiency. Rope, meticulously braided from papyrus or palm fibers, served as both harness and hoist, transmitting human strength into mechanical advantage. The interplay between simple tools and human coordination demonstrates a level of engineering sophistication that modern observers might underestimate, reminding us that innovation is often born from constraint and necessity rather than access to advanced materials. The workforce itself was highly organized, divided into skilled artisans, laborers, engineers, and overseers, each group understanding its precise role in the construction process. Tools were not randomly wielded. They were extensions of knowledge and training, honed through apprenticeship and careful observation. Quarrying a massive limestone block, for example, required precise planning: chisels to shape the stone, levers to lift, sleds to transport, and teams of workers coordinated to maintain balance and alignment. Each tool was part of a larger system, integrated into a process that combined physical labor, technical understanding, and social organization to achieve feats of construction that remain awe-inspiring even today. Archaeological excavations near quarries and work camps have provided further insight into these practices. Copper chisels of varying sizes, mallets, and stone hammers reveal an understanding of material properties. Artisans knew which tool to apply for cutting, shaping, or finishing each block. Depictions in tombs and papyri illustrate teams using sleds, levers, and ropes, conveying not only practical techniques but also social rituals and hierarchies inherent in labor organization. The tools themselves, simple in design, are a window into a civilization that relied on ingenuity, precision, and collective effort rather than brute force or modern machinery. Modern engineering often assumes that moving multi-ton stones requires cranes, pulleys, or hydraulic systems, yet the ancient Egyptians achieved similar results with ingenuity, coordination, and sheer perseverance. The apparent simplicity of their tools belies the sophistication of their application. Angles had to be calculated, friction reduced, and human labor meticulously organized. Some historians argue that the combination of sleds, lubrication, ramps, and levers was sufficient to move blocks weighing several tons over considerable distances. Experiments in recent decades, reconstructing these techniques, have demonstrated that small teams of skilled workers could indeed maneuver massive stones effectively, echoing the artistic depictions of ancient laborers. The use of copper chisels, despite their softness, also reveals an intimate understanding of geology. Workers knew how to exploit natural fractures in limestone, how to strike without shattering, and how to achieve smooth, precise surfaces. Evidence of abrasion and repetitive patterns on quarried blocks suggests a trial-and-error mastery of technique, refined over decades. The chisels themselves, often simple rods of copper, were ingeniously adapted. They were replaced, sharpened, and employed in concert with hammers and mallets to achieve remarkable precision. The idea that such monumental constructions could be accomplished without modern steel or motorized tools emphasizes the ingenuity embedded in these ancient techniques. Wooden sleds and the clever use of water as a friction-reducing agent underscore the Egyptians' understanding of physics, even if they did not describe it in mathematical terms. By moistening the sand along the path of a sled, they reduced resistance dramatically, allowing relatively small teams to pull stones far heavier than themselves. This method, documented both in experiments and in ancient reliefs, reflects a civilization attuned to the interplay between human labor, natural materials, and environmental conditions. Even simple tools became extensions of cognitive skill, amplifying strength and facilitating feats that continue to astonish engineers and historians alike. Ropes, often overlooked, were critical instruments in this construction orchestra. Made from carefully braided plant fibers, ropes needed to be strong, flexible, and durable. They were used not only to pull and lift, but also as measuring instruments, markers, and stabilizers, demonstrating a multifaceted understanding of their utility. Every knot, twist, and braid carried functional importance, reflecting both practical knowledge and cultural transmission. These techniques were learned, taught, and perfected across generations, embedded within a society that valued mastery, precision, and cooperation. Equally important was the human element, the synchronization of teams, the management of fatigue, and the deployment of tools in coordinated efforts. Artisans, overseers, and laborers followed meticulous schedules, balancing labor intensity with environmental conditions. Seasonal floods, scorching desert heat, and logistical challenges were all factored into the planning of construction. Tools alone could not achieve the pyramid's grandeur. They were extensions of human coordination, knowledge, and foresight, enabling a civilization to manipulate massive quantities of stone into structures of monumental scale and enduring beauty. The Egyptians' mastery extended to understanding the properties of different stones. Limestone, abundant on the plateau, was relatively soft and workable, yet durable enough to withstand millennia of erosion. Granite, used in inner chambers, presented greater challenges. Its hardness required sustained effort, sharper chisels, and coordinated labor. The careful selection of stone types, combined with specialized tools, demonstrates a civilization capable of adapting its techniques to material conditions, maximizing efficiency while maintaining structural integrity. Some historians debate whether certain tools or methods have been lost entirely. There is speculation about unknown techniques for lifting, positioning, or polishing massive blocks with extraordinary precision. Did the Egyptians have methods or instruments that have vanished with time, or was their genius entirely grounded in known materials and careful planning? While experiments with replicas of copper chisels, sleds, and ropes demonstrate plausibility, the speed, scale, and accuracy achieved over decades remains awe-inspiring. Each tool, though humble in appearance, represents an intimate relationship between human skill, environmental adaptation, and the ambition to reach beyond ordinary limits. The narrative of tools also reveals the Egyptians' broader philosophical and cultural mindset. Each implement, from the simplest chisel to the largest sled, was wielded with reverence and purpose, reflecting a society in which labor, technology, and spirituality were intertwined. The construction of a pyramid was not a mere act of engineering. It was a ritual, an expression of devotion, and a demonstration of humanity's ability to shape the world through ingenuity, perseverance, and knowledge. Tools became symbols of mastery, connecting the physical act of building with the spiritual ambition to align human life with cosmic and eternal orders. By examining these tools, we begin to appreciate the magnitude of human effort behind the pyramids. Thousands of workers coordinated their labor, each using specialized instruments to manipulate massive stones, measure angles, and polish surfaces. The simplicity of these tools belies the complexity of their application. A copper chisel in a skilled hand becomes a precision instrument, a wooden sled a mechanical marvel, and a rope an extension of both strength and intelligence. Every artifact, tool mark, and illustration provides insight into the civilization's sophisticated planning, highlighting a society that merged practicality with philosophical and spiritual vision. The understanding of tools and techniques naturally leads to the next layer of inquiry, the organization of human labor. How were thousands of people mobilized, fed, housed, and coordinated to execute construction over decades? How did artisans, laborers, and overseers communicate and maintain quality control? These questions underscore the interplay between tools, human ingenuity, and social structure, inviting reflection on the scale of ambition required to realize such monumental achievements. The discussion of tools, therefore, is not just about materials or implements. It is about a civilization's capacity to integrate technology, organization, and vision into enduring legacies of stone. Ultimately, the study of tools illuminates a profound truth. Monumental achievements are rarely the product of sheer strength or luck. They are born of careful observation, iterative learning, innovation, and the disciplined application of knowledge over time. The copper chisels, wooden sleds, ropes, and levers of ancient Egypt were extensions of a civilization's collective intelligence, harnessed to construct monuments that continue to inspire awe. By understanding these tools, we gain insight not only into engineering prowess, but also into the mindset of a culture that merged practicality with ambition, labor with reverence, and skill with vision. In conclusion, the tools of the ancient masters are far more than implements. They are symbols of ingenuity, evidence of careful planning and extensions of human intellect. Their simplicity contrasts with the enormity of the task they facilitated, reminding us that genius often resides not in complexity, but in the thoughtful application of available resources. By examining copper chisels, wooden sleds, ropes, and levers, we glimpse the extraordinary capabilities of a civilization that achieved feats once thought impossible, bridging the gap between human aspiration and the timeless monuments that continue to inspire wonder, reverence, and reflection today. Beneath the towering silhouettes of the pyramids, beneath the smooth and weathered stones that have withstood millennia, lies a story not just of architectural genius, but of human endeavor on a monumental scale. The pyramids were not constructed by mythic slaves or solitary masterminds. They were the product of tens of thousands of skilled laborers, artisans, and seasonal workers, whose collective effort transformed ambition into stone. These were men and women, fathers and sons, whose lives were intertwined with the rhythms of the Nile, the cycles of agriculture, and the demands of a civilization driven by spiritual devotion and earthly authority. Understanding the workforce behind these wonders requires us to step into their daily lives, to imagine the sweat, the coordination, the labor, and the careful orchestration that allowed a society to achieve what we still struggle to comprehend today. The scale of organization was staggering. Archaeological excavations at workers' villages reveal rows of mud brick barracks, communal kitchens, bakeries, and storage facilities capable of feeding tens of thousands. These were not rudimentary camps. They were well-planned, efficiently supplied communities that facilitated the continuous labor necessary for decades of construction. Meat, grain, and beer, the staples of sustenance, were provided in quantities sufficient to maintain health and morale, a testament to the administrative sophistication of the ancient Egyptian state. Workers were rotated seasonally, often during the inundation of the Nile when agricultural duties were minimal, allowing farmers to serve as temporary laborers while still tending to their fields at the appropriate times. This delicate balance between food production, labor allocation, and religious observance illustrates a civilization deeply attuned to both natural cycles and human needs. Skilled artisans played a critical role in this workforce. These were stonecutters, masons, carpenters, and metalworkers, each trained in their craft through apprenticeship and daily practice. Their tools, from chisels to hammers to measuring instruments, were extensions of their knowledge, and their labor required precision, endurance, and attention to detail. Quarrying a limestone block or carving intricate hieroglyphs demanded not only strength but understanding. Knowledge passed down over generations, embedded within the community, and intertwined with ritual and pride. These artisans were revered for their skill, and their work contributed directly to the majesty of the pyramids, where each stone was placed with deliberate intent, aligning both physically and symbolically with the cosmos and the vision of the pharaohs. Alongside the artisans, vast numbers of general laborers and seasonal workers performed the monumental physical tasks, dragging sleds laden with stone, maneuvering blocks into place, maintaining ramps, and supporting logistics. These were not enslaved individuals in the brutal sense often depicted in popular imagination. Evidence suggests that many were conscripted as a form of civic duty or participated voluntarily, motivated by religion, pride, or remuneration in food, clothing, and shelter. Tomb inscriptions and workers' graffiti provide glimpses into their world: humor, personal names, camaraderie, and pride etched onto stone walls. These human traces remind us that behind every monumental stone was a person whose sweat, effort, and daily struggle shaped history. The logistics of feeding, housing, and organizing such a workforce were unparalleled. Archaeological findings, such as massive bakeries capable of producing thousands of loaves daily, fish preserved in pits, and well-watered fields for supplementary grain, reveal an infrastructure that functioned like a modern supply chain. Water, critical in the arid environment of Giza, had to be transported, stored, and rationed carefully, and medical care for injuries sustained from heavy labor was administered, as evidenced by skeletal remains showing healed fractures and signs of long-term care. The workforce was not just a labor force. It was a living, breathing society temporarily relocated to serve a singular purpose, with hierarchies, schedules, and social structures as complex as any urban center. Coordination was vital. Teams were organized into crews and subcrews, each responsible for a specific task, whether quarrying, transporting, or assembling blocks. Leaders, supervisors, and foremen ensured efficiency and safety, using markers, ropes, and visual signals to communicate across vast construction sites. This level of organization reflects a society capable of project management on a scale that still impresses modern engineers. The planning involved not just physical logistics, but timing, seasonal rotations to match agricultural cycles, allocation of skilled versus general labor, and coordination with celestial events for ceremonial and symbolic purposes. The pyramids, therefore, are not merely monuments of stone. They are monuments of human coordination, endurance, and intellect. The human element is imbued with emotion and ritual. Many workers were deeply motivated by religious and cultural imperatives. Building a pyramid was considered a sacred duty, a contribution to the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, and a guarantee of cosmic harmony. Religious observances punctuated the labor. Ceremonies were performed to bless the stones and the workers, and symbolic rituals ensured alignment between human effort and divine order. This integration of work and spirituality elevated labor from mere physicality to an act of devotion, embedding moral and cultural significance into each stone laid and each ramp constructed. Health and well-being were central to the workforce's sustainability. Archaeological studies reveal evidence of organized medical care. Healed fractures, trepanned skulls, and other signs that injuries were treated, not ignored. Shelter was communal yet structured, with ventilation, sanitation, and provision of essential resources. The diet, though simple, was balanced enough to sustain a population engaged in arduous labor. Beer and bread, staples of daily nourishment, were supplemented by vegetables, fish, and occasional meat, providing both caloric intake and necessary nutrients. The meticulous attention to these details reflects a civilization that recognized the value of human life and labor, understanding that monumental achievements required healthy, motivated, and well-cared-for workers. Stories of individual workers emerge from inscriptions, graffiti, and tombs, providing intimate glimpses into the human side of construction. Names, jokes, complaints, and celebrations carved into stone remind us that these monumental structures were built by real people with fears, hopes, and aspirations. This human perspective is essential. The pyramids are not just symbols of pharaonic power or engineering genius, but also of collective human effort, where thousands of lives intersected in a shared purpose that transcended the individual. The scale of coordination also required ingenuity in transportation, tool usage, and scheduling. Teams of laborers moved immense stones across the desert, using sleds, ropes, and ramps, synchronizing efforts to maintain balance and prevent accidents. Supervisors ensured proper alignment and placement, leveraging knowledge passed down through generations. Even minor mistakes could delay projects for months or compromise the structural integrity of the pyramid, underscoring the precision and attention to detail demanded from every member of the workforce. The organization extended beyond the construction site. Entire support communities existed around the labor force, including administrators, priests, cooks, and medical practitioners. These individuals ensured that the pyramid-building teams could focus on their tasks without concern for food, water, or health, demonstrating an early understanding of project management that integrated human, material, and temporal resources into a cohesive system. The pyramids, therefore, are as much a monument to human organization and social ingenuity as they are to stone and architectural design. The workers' efforts were reflected in every aspect of the pyramid. Stones were cut to precise dimensions, ramps maintained for efficiency, and placement executed with geometric exactitude. This precision required not just technical skill, but trust and coordination. Teams relied on each other's competence, timing, and strength to accomplish feats that remain awe-inspiring today. The pyramids embody a remarkable synthesis of human intelligence, social cooperation, and physical endurance, illustrating that monumental achievements are fundamentally human endeavors, shaped by collaboration and shared purpose. By exploring the workforce behind the pyramids, we gain a deeper appreciation for the civilization that built them. These monuments are not merely silent stones, they are echoes of countless lives, each contributing to a vision that has transcended time. The pyramids stand as a testament to human organization, skill and spirit, revealing a civilization capable of aligning ambition, labor and knowledge into enduring monuments of stone. Their construction is a story not just of rulers and architects, but of the tens of thousands who made that vision a reality. As we reflect on the workforce behind the wonder, the mind begins to grasp the staggering complexity and coordination required. Human ingenuity, physical endurance, and social cohesion were mobilized in ways that still resonate with awe today. This understanding naturally leads us to the next stage, the planning, geometric precision, and architectural mastery that guided the pyramid's construction, where every stone angle and alignment reflects a civilization attuned to both earthly and celestial order. The story of the workforce is inseparable from the story of the pyramids themselves. Human lives, labor, and coordination formed the foundation upon which these silent monoliths now stand, enduring witnesses to the heights of ambition, organization, and human potential. The pyramids of Giza, silent and monumental under the sun, are more than tombs. They are expressions of a civilization's profound understanding of geometry, proportion, and cosmic alignment. From a distance, the structures seem simple, triangular silhouettes against the sky, but as one steps closer, it becomes evident that these are not merely large stones stacked together. Every angle, every edge, every precise alignment speaks of intentionality, knowledge, and a mastery of mathematical principles that continues to baffle engineers, architects, and historians to this day. The precision achieved in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Khufu, for instance, is staggering. The sides of its square base differ by mere centimeters, despite spanning more than 230 meters per side. The sheer scale of accuracy, achieved without modern measuring devices, suggests a command of geometry that rivals, or even surpasses, contemporary understanding. Some theorists propose that the ancient Egyptians employed advanced mathematical techniques, now lost to time, encoded into the very dimensions of these colossal monuments. Pi, the golden ratio, and Pythagorean triples appear in the proportions of the pyramids, inviting speculation that these ancient engineers understood concepts that would not be formally defined for millennia. Scholars debate whether this was intentional, a result of observational ingenuity, or coincidental. Yet the evidence is compelling. The ratios between height and base, the precise inclination of the sides, and the orientation of passageways all suggest a deliberate pursuit of geometric perfection. These structures are not random. They are calculated, measured, and executed with a level of precision that bridges the gap between art, mathematics, and engineering. The Great Pyramid, the largest of the three at Giza, demonstrates a mastery of both macro and micro-scale planning. At its base, the nearly perfect square provides stability and symmetry, while the pyramid's inclination ensures structural integrity and visual harmony. The slope, approximately 51.5 degrees, is repeated across successive layers, revealing meticulous attention to detail. The placement of each limestone block, many weighing several tons, follows a precise order that maintains this geometric fidelity from foundation to apex. Even minor deviations could have compromised the structural soundness of the pyramid, yet the builders achieved near perfection, a feat that continues to inspire awe and intellectual curiosity today. Astronomical alignments add another layer of complexity to the geometric mastery of the pyramids. The sides of the Great Pyramid are aligned almost exactly with the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west. This was not mere coincidence. Aligning such massive structures with the cosmos required knowledge of the stars, careful observation, and precise calculations. Scholars suggest that the Egyptians may have used the stars of the Big Dipper and Orion's belt as guides, creating a celestial map on Earth. This synthesis of geometry and astronomy reveals a civilization deeply attuned not only to mathematics, but to the rhythms of the universe, where structures on land mirrored patterns in the sky, reinforcing religious and cultural symbolism in physical form. The interior passageways and chambers of the pyramids reflect the same meticulous geometric planning. The Grand Gallery, an ascending corridor within the Great Pyramid, rises at a precise angle with stones carefully shaped to interlock and distribute weight. The King's Chamber, built entirely of granite, features blocks cut to exact dimensions placed so precisely that the joints are nearly invisible to the naked eye. The deliberate alignment of ventilation shafts with specific stars demonstrates a fusion of engineering, geometry and spirituality, suggesting that the Egyptians' pursuit of perfection was both practical and metaphysical. Every aspect of the pyramid's internal layout reinforces the idea that geometry was not merely a tool, but a guiding philosophy, shaping both space and experience. Mathematical theories surrounding the pyramids invite further reflection. The golden ratio, often associated with aesthetic perfection, appears in the relationship between the pyramid's height and base. The suggestion that these proportions were intentionally encoded reflects an advanced understanding of harmony and balance. Similarly, the dimensions of the pyramid may encode knowledge of pi, evident in the ratio of the perimeter to the height of the Great Pyramid. Whether intentional or coincidental, these numerical correspondences fuel speculation about the sophistication of ancient Egyptian mathematics and engineering. Were these ratios a product of empirical observation, refined over generations, or did they represent a codified system of knowledge now lost to history? The question remains, captivating both the imagination and the intellect. The geometric precision extends beyond the Great Pyramid. Khafra's pyramid and Menkare's smaller pyramid demonstrate consistent adherence to proportional and mathematical principles, suggesting that such knowledge was institutionalized, taught, and applied across generations. This points to a society where architects and engineers were highly specialized, educated in both practical and theoretical disciplines. The construction of these pyramids required not only physical labor, but intellectual labor, where surveying, alignment, measurement, and iterative correction were integrated into the building process. The pyramids are thus both a testament to human endurance and a monument to intellectual mastery, blending the physical and cerebral in an unprecedented manner. Even the stones themselves reflect geometric considerations. Each block was shaped and positioned to distribute weight evenly, minimizing structural stress. The use of casing stones, polished limestone covering the rougher inner blocks, created smooth surfaces that enhanced both stability and aesthetic impact. This dual function of beauty and engineering indicates that the Egyptians perceived geometry as a language that communicated both practical and symbolic meaning. Angles, ratios, and alignments were not merely functional. They were imbued with cultural, religious, and perhaps cosmic significance, making the pyramids a harmonious blend of science, art, and spirituality. Modern attempts to explain pyramid construction often focus on tools and methods, but geometry remains the most compelling mystery. Engineers today can reproduce elements of the construction with modern machinery, yet the precision and harmony achieved using only copper tools, wooden sleds, and ropes continue to defy expectations. Surveys using laser scanning, 3D modeling, and computer simulations reveal deviations of mere millimeters across massive distances, highlighting the extraordinary skill and planning of ancient builders. The geometry is not only exact, but consistent across multiple pyramids, emphasizing a systematic application of knowledge rather than random or isolated brilliance. The psychological impact of this geometric mastery is equally profound. Standing at the base of the Great Pyramid, one can feel the intention behind every line and angle. The careful design guides the eye upward, emphasizing height, stability, and alignment with the heavens. The interplay of light and shadow across the triangular faces changes throughout the day, reinforcing the perception of order, precision, and harmony. This deliberate manipulation of space and proportion demonstrates an intuitive understanding of both human perception and the aesthetics of geometry, further deepening our appreciation for the sophistication of the ancient builders. Speculation about lost techniques adds an additional layer of fascination. Some researchers propose that the Egyptians possessed methods of measurement, leveling, and surveying that have been forgotten, perhaps passed down orally or encoded in ritual practices. Others suggest that experimentation and iterative improvement over generations allowed for empirical mastery of geometry without formal theoretical knowledge. Regardless of the explanation, the pyramids reveal a civilization capable of harmonizing observation, experience, and abstract reasoning, transforming abstract concepts into tangible, enduring structures that continue to inspire awe thousands of years later. The geometric perfection of the pyramids also invites reflection on human ambition and the desire to create lasting monuments. In aligning with cardinal points, mirroring celestial patterns and encoding mathematical ratios, the builders expressed a vision that transcended their own lifetimes. Geometry became a language of immortality, enabling the pharaoh's presence to endure across millennia, while simultaneously demonstrating the collective genius of a society capable of achieving such feats. The pyramids are therefore not merely tombs, they are statements of human potential, a synthesis of intellect, labor, and aspiration rendered in stone. This mastery of geometry naturally leads to deeper questions about modern explanations versus ancient genius. While contemporary engineers marvel at the technical achievements, the precise implementation of complex mathematical concepts without modern tools suggests that our understanding of ancient Egyptian knowledge may be incomplete. Were there written treatises, specialized schools, or secret methods guiding these constructions? Or was the knowledge embedded in practice, observation, and communal expertise refined over centuries of trial, error, and cultural continuity? The tension between what we can measure today and what we can know about ancient techniques adds a layer of mystery, compelling us to respect both the ingenuity and the unknown legacy of the past. Finally, the pyramid's geometry connects the tangible with the symbolic. Angles, ratios, and alignments were not solely technical solutions. They communicated order, stability, and cosmic harmony. By studying these forms, we glimpse a worldview in which mathematics, religion, and architecture were inseparable. The pyramids stand as enduring proof that human understanding of geometry can transcend time, reflecting knowledge, devotion, and ambition that continue to inspire wonder, intellectual curiosity, and cinematic awe. As we leave this section of geometric mastery, our minds are primed to question modern explanations of the pyramids versus the genius of their builders. The precision, alignment, and mathematical coherence demand respect and reflection, setting the stage for exploring the logistical feats, social organization, and extraordinary human effort that brought these monumental structures to life. The pyramids, through their geometry, speak not just of stones and ratios, but of a civilization that integrated intellect, spirituality, and creativity into a timeless legacy of mastery. The Great Pyramid of Giza, standing silent and unyielding under the desert sun, continues to captivate modern engineers, archaeologists, and mathematicians with its near-perfect precision. From the exactness of its square base to the flawless alignment of its sides with the cardinal points, the pyramid embodies a level of accuracy that seems almost impossible given the technological limitations of the era. Measuring over 230 meters on each side, the Great Pyramid deviates from a perfect square by only a few centimeters, a feat that has left generations of researchers awestruck. The thought of achieving such precision with copper tools, wooden sleds, and basic surveying equipment evokes both admiration and bafflement. How could a society so long ago achieve what today's engineers struggle to replicate with advanced instruments and computer modeling? The answer remains elusive, wrapped in the sands of time and the ingenuity of human endeavor. Surveying and leveling such a vast foundation was itself a monumental challenge. Modern engineers use laser instruments and GPS technology to achieve near-perfect alignment, but the Egyptians relied on observations, rudimentary tools, and sheer practical genius. Researchers have discovered that the builders likely used a combination of water leveling and sighting along the stars to create a true horizontal base. The Nile may have played an unexpected role in this process, as the floodwaters provided a reference plane to calibrate measurements. The precision achieved is astonishing. The base is nearly perfectly level, varying only a fraction of a centimeter across its entire span. This meticulous leveling ensured that the weight of the massive limestone and granite blocks would be evenly distributed, preserving the pyramid's stability over millennia. Angles are another aspect of precision that continues to intrigue. The slope of the pyramid, approximately 51.5 degrees, is repeated with remarkable consistency from the base to the apex. Achieving this uniform incline required careful planning and measurement, a level of geometric sophistication that modern observers often describe as eerie in its perfection. Even the joints between individual stones are so tight that they appear seamless, leaving questions about the methods used to shape, transport, and place blocks weighing several tons. Experiments attempting to replicate this feat with modern tools underscore the extraordinary skill and patience of the ancient builders, who accomplished the same with far simpler equipment. It is as if the builders possessed a knowledge of materials, force distribution, and measurement that surpasses intuitive understanding. Symmetry within the pyramid is equally astounding. Each side mirrors the others almost perfectly, a visual and structural harmony that has persisted for over 4,000 years. Even minor deviations are imperceptible without precise instruments, suggesting that symmetry was not merely aesthetic, but functional, designed to distribute stress evenly and enhance stability. This symmetry extends to internal features as well. The ascending and descending passages, the grand gallery, and the king's chamber all exhibit meticulous alignment with the outer faces of the pyramid. The interrelation of internal and external geometry reflects an integrated understanding of space, weight, and balance, revealing a civilization capable of harmonizing architecture, engineering, and perhaps even cosmology. Modern analyses using computer modeling and laser scanning have uncovered further layers of precision that seem almost preternatural. Researchers have noted that the four sides of the pyramid are oriented within a tiny fraction of a degree of true north. This level of accuracy challenges conventional assumptions about ancient surveying methods and raises the possibility of unknown techniques. Some suggest that the Egyptians may have employed astronomical observations, such as tracking circumpolar stars, to achieve perfect alignment. Others speculate about the use of leveling devices, now lost to history, passed down orally or through practical apprenticeship. Regardless of method, the precision achieved surpasses what many would consider feasible without advanced technology. Beyond structural alignment, the precision of internal chambers and passageways adds another layer of mystery. The king's chamber, constructed entirely from massive granite blocks, demonstrates an astonishing understanding of weight distribution and stability. The blocks are cut and positioned with such accuracy that they interlock without mortar, yet remain perfectly aligned within the overall geometry of the pyramid. Ventilation shafts, angled with meticulous care, align with specific stars, hinting at a fusion of engineering, astronomy, and religious symbolism. The Grand Gallery, ascending steeply within the pyramid, maintains a precise slope and uniform width, providing both structural support and ceremonial significance. These internal features reflect a deliberate orchestration of space, weight, and symbolic intent, reinforcing the idea that the pyramid's precision was intentional, not accidental. The human capacity to achieve such precision is mirrored by the logistical challenges the builders faced. Organizing tens of thousands of workers to transport, shape, and position enormous stones required careful planning and coordination. Each stone had to be cut to exact dimensions, transported along carefully prepared ramps, and placed with minute adjustments to maintain alignment. Mistakes could compromise the entire structure, yet evidence suggests that errors were rare and quickly corrected, indicating an advanced system of oversight and quality control. The precision achieved reflects not only technical knowledge, but also an extraordinary level of organization, discipline, and collective skill. Speculation about lost knowledge naturally arises from the pyramid's precision. Could the Egyptians have possessed techniques that have since disappeared? Some theorists propose the existence of specialized tools, surveying methods, or measurement systems now unknown. Others suggest that the knowledge was embedded in ritual, tradition, or apprenticeship, passed down orally and practically rather than in written form. The possibility that advanced mathematical understanding existed long before formal documentation challenges conventional narratives of human technological development. It is a humbling reminder that the past may hold insights that remain inaccessible to modern science, preserved only in stone, sand, and shadow. The psychological impact of precision is also profound. The seamless symmetry, perfect angles, and flawless base create an aura of perfection that evokes both awe and unease. Visitors often describe a sense of order and permanence, as if the pyramid embodies universal principles beyond human comprehension. This effect is amplified by the pyramid's scale. Standing at the base, the viewer experiences a combination of grandeur and intimacy, realizing that each stone contributes to an overarching geometric vision. Precision, in this context, is more than engineering. It is a language, a silent expression of mastery, intention, and transcendence. The interplay between practical necessity and symbolic meaning further enriches the story of precision. Every angle, alignment, and joint serve not only a structural purpose, but also communicated cultural and religious values. Cardinal orientation linked the pyramid to the cosmos, reflecting the Egyptians' belief in celestial harmony and the pharaoh's connection to divine order. Symmetry and alignment embodied balance, stability, and eternity, reinforcing the pyramid's role as a conduit between the earthly and the divine. Precision, therefore, was not merely a technical achievement, it was a philosophical statement, a testament to the civilization's vision, faith, and understanding of the universe. Modern comparisons underscore the pyramid's continued enigma. Today, architects and engineers can achieve remarkable feats with cranes, lasers, and computer-aided design, yet replicating the Great Pyramid's precision under ancient conditions remains a formidable challenge. Experimental archaeology has provided insights, but questions linger. How did the Egyptians measure distances so accurately? How did they ensure uniform angles across vast expanses? How did they coordinate thousands of laborers to execute a plan with such meticulous fidelity? The answers may lie partially in observation, practice, and iterative problem-solving, but the full extent of their methods remains shrouded in mystery. This reflection on precision naturally leads to speculation about the knowledge and techniques now lost to history. Did the builders possess a conceptual understanding of geometry and astronomy, far beyond what we typically attribute to ancient civilizations? Were there schools or guilds where this knowledge was cultivated and transmitted across generations? Or did empirical observation, careful trial and error, and communal experience provide the foundation for these remarkable achievements? While we may never know with certainty, the precision of the pyramids invites us to imagine a civilization in which intellect, labor, and observation converged to produce something truly extraordinary. The awe inspired by precision extends beyond technical admiration. It touches on the philosophical. The pyramid challenges our understanding of human capability, suggesting that meticulous planning, observation, and collective effort can produce results that endure millennia. Its accuracy forces reflection on the relationship between humans and time, between ambition and skill, and between knowledge and mystery. By contemplating the precision of the Great Pyramid, we engage not only with mathematics and engineering, but with the broader human quest for permanence, order, and understanding in a transient world. As we conclude this exploration of precision, we are left with a sense of wonder and humility. The pyramid's meticulous alignment, flawless angles, and symmetrical perfection defy full explanation, reminding us that ancient civilizations were capable of achievements that challenge modern assumptions. This section sets the stage for the next exploration, the possibility that the Egyptians possessed knowledge or techniques now lost, a tantalizing intersection of ingenuity, mystery, and the enduring allure of the unknown. The Great Pyramid, through its extraordinary precision, continues to speak across the ages, inviting curiosity, reflection, and awe, urging us to ponder not only what was accomplished, but also what might still be hidden within the sands of time. The question of how the pyramids were built has fueled debate and speculation for centuries. While modern archaeology points to massive human effort, ingenuity, and simple tools, a persistent undercurrent of wonder hints at something more, a mastery of engineering that seems almost beyond the capabilities of the ancient world. Observers have long marveled at the precision of the Great Pyramid, the perfectly leveled base, the exact orientation to cardinal points, and the seamless alignment of massive stone blocks. Even with contemporary cranes, laser-guided instruments, and computer modeling, reproducing this feat remains staggeringly difficult. Could the Egyptians have possessed lost technologies, now erased from history, or were they simply using an unparalleled combination of observation, labor, and experimentation? This question sets the stage for an exploration of both conventional theories and fringe hypotheses, all woven with a tone of calm curiosity and reflective wonder. Some experts argue that the ancient Egyptians achieved their monumental constructions with remarkable but accessible ingenuity. They point to simple machines, ramps, sleds, levers, and rollers, combined with water for lubrication or leveling. Observational skills, trial and error techniques, and organized labor could account for much of what we see today. For instance, wooden sledges pulled by large crews could have moved massive limestone blocks across smoothened sand or wet surfaces, reducing friction considerably. At quarries like Tura near modern Cairo, evidence of precisely cut blocks, tool marks, and organized work sites demonstrates a society with remarkable discipline, specialization, and craftsmanship. These arguments underscore the idea that, while the results are extraordinary, the methods may have been entirely human, grounded in the practical and empirical knowledge accumulated over generations. Yet the scale, precision, and uniformity of the pyramids invite speculation that there might have been more than meets the eye. Some researchers suggest that we may be underestimating the Egyptians' understanding of mathematics, physics, and astronomy. The pyramids' dimensions, ratios, and alignment with celestial bodies imply knowledge that seems sophisticated, even by modern standards. Could there have been measurement tools or surveying techniques lost to time? Ancient records hint at instruments for leveling, plumb bobs, sighting rods, and knotted cords, yet none can fully account for the exactitude achieved. The precision of the internal chambers and passageways, particularly the king's chamber constructed entirely from granite, suggests not only physical skill, but also a conceptual mastery of space, weight, and balance that is difficult to reproduce without advanced understanding. Fringe theories abound in the exploration of lost technologies. Some theorists propose that the Egyptians had access to advanced machines, perhaps mechanical hoists, complex pulley systems, or devices powered by principles now forgotten. These ideas often intersect with speculation about knowledge passed down from earlier unknown civilizations, positing that the pyramids were built not only by human ingenuity, but with insight inherited from predecessors who understood the properties of stone, leverage, and precise alignment in ways lost to modern history. While lacking direct evidence, such perspectives offer a compelling lens through which to view the pyramids, emphasizing that ancient human civilizations may have possessed practical wisdom that challenges contemporary assumptions about technological progress. Another compelling avenue of speculation considers the Egyptians' possible understanding of sound, vibration, or resonance. Some fringe theories suggest that ancient builders may have leveraged natural frequencies to move or position heavy stones, a hypothesis grounded in acoustic principles observed in other ancient constructions. The concept is that vibrations or resonant energy could have reduced friction or allowed stones to be manipulated with minimal physical effort. While experimental proof is limited and remains controversial, the idea speaks to the Egyptians' ingenuity in harnessing natural phenomena, reflecting a profound sensitivity to their environment and a conceptual approach to construction that is both technical and holistic. Astronomy and cosmology may have played a subtle yet significant role in construction techniques. The alignment of pyramids with the stars, particularly the circumpolar constellations, suggests that careful observation of celestial movements informed both design and execution. By tracking the stars, ancient surveyors could have established precise reference points for orientation and measurement. The integration of cosmic order into architecture indicates that the Egyptians viewed geometry not merely as practical, but as symbolic, connecting earthly construction with heavenly principles. The interplay of mathematics, astronomy, and labor creates a scenario where advanced knowledge may have existed not in written manuals or explicit machines, but in lived experience, observation, and ritual practice, a form of knowledge as real and effective as any tool. Some researchers speculate that hieroglyphs, mathematical papyri, and architectural sketches contain encoded knowledge of techniques now obscured by time. Documents like the Rhind mathematical papyrus and the Moscow mathematical papyrus demonstrate that the Egyptians were capable of sophisticated arithmetic and geometry. While these texts primarily address practical problems such as land measurement, bread distribution, and simple calculations, their underlying principles could have informed complex architectural projects, providing builders with the conceptual framework for precision, proportionality, and alignment. The idea that certain knowledge was deliberately kept within guilds or priestly classes cannot be dismissed, as secrecy may have served both religious and cultural purposes, ensuring that sacred structures remained under controlled hands. Alternative interpretations, often explored in popular and speculative literature, suggest that the pyramids themselves may encode lost technological wisdom. The internal passageways, chambers, and alignment might contain clues about advanced construction techniques or measurement systems that we no longer understand. Some theorists focus on ratios, harmonic relationships, or spatial patterns that hint at applied mathematics far beyond conventional comprehension. Whether these were intentional or serendipitous, the effect is the same. The pyramids continue to evoke the sense that ancient human ingenuity achieved what seems nearly miraculous, suggesting the possibility of knowledge deliberately embedded within monumental architecture. Archaeological investigations provide grounding for many of these theories, while maintaining a sense of mystery. Recent discoveries using sonar mapping, laser scanning, and robotic exploration reveal hidden voids, structural anomalies, and micro-adjustments that demonstrate the builders' meticulous attention to detail. These findings encourage both awe and reflection. Even after centuries of study, the pyramids retain secrets, suggesting either advanced problem-solving or techniques now forgotten. The fact that new discoveries continue to emerge reinforces the idea that our understanding of these structures is provisional, and that lost knowledge, whether technical, mathematical, or procedural, may still lie buried beneath the stone. In reflecting on these possibilities, it is important to maintain a balanced, calm, and reflective tone. Speculation should not overshadow empirical evidence, but rather complement it, encouraging wonder while acknowledging what we do know. The combination of documented methods, archaeological evidence, and persistent enigmas invites viewers to consider human potential across time. The pyramids were built by people capable of extraordinary organization, observation, and craft. At the same time, their enduring mystery reminds us that not all human achievement is fully comprehensible, and that history may preserve insights that remain tantalizingly just out of reach. Ultimately, the question of ancient knowledge versus lost technology transcends mere construction techniques. It invites contemplation of the human relationship with knowledge itself, how cultures preserve, transmit, and sometimes conceal their most profound insights. The Egyptians' ability to integrate engineering, mathematics, astronomy, and ritual into a unified monumental vision exemplifies the kind of knowledge that defies easy categorization. Whether through conscious technological innovation, accumulated empirical wisdom, or methods now lost to time, the pyramids reflect a civilization capable of shaping the world on a grand scale, leaving behind structures that continue to inspire awe, debate, and curiosity. This exploration naturally leads viewers to consider the cultural and spiritual dimensions of pyramid construction. Precision, geometry, and engineering were never merely functional. They were intertwined with religious belief, cosmic symbolism, and the eternal aspirations of pharaohs. The alignment with stars, the creation of sacred chambers, and the organization of labor all point to a society in which knowledge was inseparable from culture, belief, and ritual. The possibility of lost techniques enhances the sense that we are encountering not only human achievement, but also an expression of a civilization's deepest values and understanding of the universe. In pondering ancient knowledge or lost technology, we are reminded that human ingenuity is not linear. Modern tools and machines may rival or exceed past capabilities in speed and efficiency, yet the pyramids illustrate that insight, observation, and collective effort can achieve outcomes that continue to challenge our comprehension. The interplay of theory, experiment, and mystery creates a narrative that is both intellectually stimulating and emotionally resonant. It evokes awe not only for what was accomplished, but for the unseen processes, decisions, and wisdom that allowed such accomplishments to unfold. The pyramids, then, are not only monuments of stone, they are monuments of human potential, curiosity, and aspiration. They inspire reflection on the boundaries between knowledge and mystery, between what is understood and what remains tantalizingly out of reach. Each perfectly aligned block, each hidden chamber, each mathematical ratio, and each architectural anomaly invites us to imagine the ingenuity of a civilization whose mastery of space, materials, and observation continues to defy easy explanation. The question remains open, echoing across millennia. Were these feats accomplished through human ingenuity alone, Or did some lost technology, method, or insight guide them? Perhaps the answer is a combination, a synthesis of empirical skill, observation, and a cultural commitment to precision, permanence, and cosmic harmony. As we transition to the next section, the cultural and spiritual significance of the pyramids comes into sharper focus. The technical mysteries and possible lost knowledge are inseparable from the Egyptians' worldview. Construction precision, celestial alignment, and monumental scale all served spiritual purposes, reflecting beliefs about life, death, and eternity. By considering ancient knowledge alongside cultural meaning, we gain a fuller understanding of why these structures endure, not only physically, but also in the human imagination. Timeless symbols of ingenuity, aspiration, and the mysteries of civilizations long past. The pyramids of Egypt are more than monumental feats of engineering. They are profound expressions of a civilization's spiritual worldview, cultural identity, and philosophical beliefs. To understand why these structures were conceived on such a grand scale, one must first immerse in the mindset of the ancient Egyptians, a society in which the boundaries between life, death, and the divine were intimately intertwined. From the earliest dynasties, the pharaohs were considered living gods, intermediaries between mortals and the eternal cosmos. Their tombs were not merely burial sites. They were sacred vessels designed to house the physical and spiritual essence of rulers, ensuring their immortality and continued guidance over the living. The act of constructing a pyramid was, therefore, a ritual in stone, an architectural prayer echoing across centuries. The religious dimension of pyramid building is inseparable from the precision and scale of these monuments. Every measurement, angle, and alignment carried symbolic weight, embodying the Egyptians' reverence for cosmic order, Ma'at, the principle of balance, truth, and justice. The pyramids were oriented with remarkable accuracy to the cardinal points, reflecting an understanding of the heavens that fused astronomy with theology. Scholars speculate that certain stars and constellations were selected as guides for the soul's journey, offering pathways to the afterlife. For instance, the alignment of the Great Pyramid's shafts toward specific stars may have been intended to assist the pharaoh's ka, the spiritual essence, in reaching the eternal celestial realm. Each stone placed, each chamber constructed, was therefore both practical and sacred, a blend of meticulous craftsmanship and devotion. The symbolic dimension extends beyond mere alignment or geometry. The pyramid itself, tapering skyward, represents a metaphysical ascent, a bridge between the earthly and the divine. Its triangular faces, catching the rising sun, may have symbolized the rays of Ra, the sun god, illuminating the path to eternal life. To the ancient Egyptians, death was not an end but a transition, and monumental architecture was a means to harmonize the physical world with spiritual reality. The sheer scale of the pyramids can thus be seen as a reflection of the Egyptians' belief in the magnitude of the afterlife, a realm as vast and ordered as the cosmos itself. This duality of purpose, functional tombs and cosmic symbols, imbues every block with reverence, imbuing the entire structure with a quiet, awe-inspiring energy that continues to resonate today. Beyond the pharaohs, the spiritual significance of pyramids extended to the people who built and maintained them. The construction process was imbued with ritual. Workers were organized not only as laborers, but as participants in a sacred undertaking. Archaeological evidence suggests that certain workmen's villages were established with communal spaces, temples and ritual areas, emphasizing that the act of building a pyramid was also a cultural performance. Each worker, whether craftsman, quarryman, or supervisor, participated in a cycle that reinforced social cohesion, religious devotion, and collective purpose. In this sense, the pyramids were not isolated monuments but centers of spiritual and cultural life, embodying shared values, discipline, and reverence for the divine. Religious texts, such as the pyramid texts inscribed in later structures, reveal further dimensions of Egyptian spirituality. These inscriptions, among the oldest religious writings in the world, served as guides for the deceased's journey into the afterlife. They provide prayers, magical formulas, and mythological narratives designed to protect the pharaoh's soul and ensure eternal existence. While these texts postdate some of the earliest pyramids, they likely reflect long-standing beliefs about death, rebirth, and cosmic order. By examining these inscriptions, we glimpse a civilization that viewed architecture, ritual, and celestial observation as inseparable, and that invested monumental resources to harmonize human life with eternal principles. The precision observed in pyramid construction may have been influenced by these spiritual imperatives. If the pyramid were to serve as a vessel for the pharaoh's eternal journey, every error, misalignment, or imbalance could symbolically disrupt the delicate harmony between the earthly and divine realms. Builders were therefore not simply solving engineering challenges, they were executing sacred tasks with ritual care. The labor-intensive process, the careful placement of granite, limestone, and basalt, and the alignment with natural and celestial markers all underscore a society in which spiritual purpose was inseparable from practical achievement. This integration of belief and labor elevates the pyramids beyond technical marvels. They are architectural expressions of faith, a physical manifestation of a culture striving to align with the cosmos. Comparisons with other ancient civilizations further illuminate the spiritual and cultural significance of monumental architecture. In Mesoamerica, for example, the Maya and Aztecs built pyramids with stepped terraces, aligned to solstices and celestial events, blending ritual, religion, and observation. In Mesopotamia, ziggurats served as temples connecting earth and sky, offering both practical space for worship and symbolic representation of divine order. Across cultures, monumental structures often embody the intersection of religion, governance, and cosmic awareness, reflecting a universal human desire to situate ourselves within a greater, ordered universe. The Egyptian pyramids stand apart not only in scale but in their meticulous alignment, internal complexity, and integration of spiritual, cultural, and technical knowledge, suggesting a civilization whose worldview demanded permanence, precision, and transcendence. The spiritual and cultural resonance of the pyramids also extends to their intended audience, the living. These structures were meant to impress, inspire, and instill a sense of reverence among the populace. Their visibility from miles across the desert, their imposing mass, and their carefully oriented symmetry served as constant reminders of the pharaoh's divine authority and the enduring cosmic order. Beyond religious significance, the pyramids functioned as instruments of social cohesion, cultural identity, and national pride. By linking the physical world to metaphysical principles, the Egyptians created monuments that transcended mere stone, embedding the narrative of civilization itself within their architecture. The influence of spirituality on construction techniques is further revealed in funerary practices associated with the pyramids. Tombs contained elaborate goods, amulets, and inscriptions designed to aid the deceased in the afterlife. Rituals of mummification, prayer, and offering were integral to the conception of the pyramid as a sacred space. Each element of the structure, from the orientation of chambers to the inclusion of symbolic artifacts, reflects a sophisticated understanding of cosmology, theology, and human mortality. The technical and spiritual aspects are thus inseparable, emphasizing that the grandeur of the pyramids arises as much from cultural intent as from engineering expertise. In considering the pyramid's spiritual significance, one cannot overlook the role of myth and narrative. Stories of gods, cosmic battles, and the pharaoh's divine ancestry provided a framework for interpreting the world. These narratives informed design choices, ceremonial practices, and labor organization. By embedding mythology into physical form, the Egyptians created a multi-layered monument in which every stone carried meaning beyond its material weight. The pyramid then is both a tomb and a narrative device, a storyteller in stone, transmitting the civilization's values, fears, aspirations, and devotion across millennia. The immersive, reflective tone of these observations allows viewers to appreciate the pyramids not only as engineering marvels, but as living expressions of culture. Walking through the desert landscape, imagining the sunrise illuminating the apex of a pyramid, one can sense the spiritual intention behind the immense labor, the meticulous planning, and the extraordinary dedication of a civilization intent on harmonizing human existence with the eternal. The viewer is invited to contemplate questions about purpose, faith, and the human desire to leave a mark that outlives mortality. The pyramids in this light become more than history. They are touchstones of timeless human aspiration. Finally, the The section transitions naturally toward broader reflections on ancient monumental architecture by suggesting comparisons with other cultures. By exploring the religious and cultural motivations behind Egyptian construction, viewers are prepared to examine how civilizations across the globe have expressed spiritual beliefs through monumental works. The focus on cultural meaning, ritual integration, and cosmological alignment sets the stage for deeper understanding of humanity's ongoing quest to bridge the material and the spiritual, the temporal, and the eternal. In doing so, the narrative subtly primes the audience for the subsequent sections, which consider the enduring legacy of ancient knowledge, comparative architecture, and the philosophical resonance of these timeless structures. Through this examination of spiritual and cultural significance, the Egyptian pyramids emerge not merely as stone structures or archaeological curiosities, but as living expressions of human belief, ambition, and understanding. Their grandeur, precision, and symbolic resonance reveal a civilization deeply attuned to the cosmos, mortality, and the transcendent, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire awe, reflection, and wonder across centuries. As we step beyond the arid sands of Giza and the towering monuments of Egypt, it becomes apparent that the pursuit of monumental architecture is a recurring theme throughout human history, a testament to humanity's shared fascination with scale, symbolism, and the cosmos. Across continents and millennia, civilizations have sought to immortalize their achievements through constructions that not only defy practical limitations, but also embody spiritual, cultural, and philosophical ideals. The Egyptian pyramids are often the most renowned examples of this phenomenon, yet they are far from unique in their ambition. In Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, ziggurats rose toward the heavens as layered, temple-topped platforms. These structures were not designed for burial, but for communion with the gods, acting as sacred axes that linked earth and sky. The ziggurats, much like the pyramids, required immense labor, precise planning, and societal coordination, reflecting both the technical capabilities and religious devotion of the Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians who built them. Similarly, in the Americas, Mesoamerican civilizations such as the Maya and Aztecs erected stepped pyramids with ceremonial platforms atop. Structures like El Castillo at Chichen Itza or the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan embody not only architectural sophistication but also astronomical knowledge. Alignments with solstices, equinoxes, and other celestial events echo the meticulous positioning of the Egyptian pyramids with respect to cardinal points and stellar constellations. The shared emphasis on orientation suggests a common human impulse to harmonize construction with the natural order, perhaps reflecting a fundamental psychological drive to understand one's place within the cosmos. The recurrence of pyramidal forms in these distant societies, separated by thousands of miles and centuries, raises profound questions about the universality of certain design principles, the convergent evolution of architectural thought, and the ways in which spirituality shapes human ingenuity. In Asia, particularly in China, monumental tomb complexes such as the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor and its surrounding burial mounds demonstrate a similarly grand ambition. While differing in stylistic approach, these structures convey the same intent: to create enduring legacies that connect mortal life with transcendent order. They too required vast coordinated labor, sophisticated engineering, and precise planning, revealing that the drive to build not merely for utility, but for eternity, is a thread running through disparate human cultures. The philosophical underpinnings are comparable. These constructions express beliefs about mortality, the afterlife, and humanity's relationship with the divine. In this context, Egyptian pyramids are part of a global pattern of monumental expression, a dialogue of human aspiration and awe across time and space. The parallels extend beyond form to the conceptual. Across civilizations, monumental architecture is consistently tied to religious or cosmological significance. In Mesopotamia, ziggurats functioned as sacred spaces where priests performed rituals and communicated with deities. In Mesoamerica, stepped pyramids served as ceremonial platforms for offerings, processions, and astronomical observations. In China, elaborate tombs honored ancestors and emperors, aligning with geomantic principles. The common thread is the fusion of utility, artistry, and spirituality. a triad that elevates structures from mere stone and earth to symbols of enduring human aspiration. In each case, the society's technical achievements were inseparable from their cultural and philosophical frameworks, suggesting that monumental construction is as much a reflection of ideology and belief as it is of physical skill. One cannot ignore the recurring theme of alignment with celestial bodies. Across these civilizations, the heavens guided the construction of monumental architecture. Egyptian pyramids align with cardinal points and certain stars, Mesoamerican pyramids with solstices and equinoxes, Mesopotamian ziggurats with sacred stars, and Chinese burial mounds with geomantic principles linked to celestial patterns. This universality of celestial observation implies that humans, regardless of location, sought to anchor their achievements within a larger cosmic context. The sky itself became a canvas, dictating orientation, symmetry, and proportion, revealing the depth of knowledge ancient societies possessed, knowledge often underestimated or overlooked in modern narratives. These parallels provoke awe and invite speculation. To what extent did disparate civilizations converge on similar architectural principles through empirical observation, intuitive reasoning, or perhaps even lost common wisdom that transcends geography? Beyond alignment, there are remarkable similarities in labor organization and construction techniques. Across cultures, these massive structures required extensive human coordination, seasonal labor planning, and resource management. Feeding thousands, transporting enormous stones, and supervising intricate architectural plans demanded social structures capable of sustaining long-term projects. In Egypt, evidence points to highly organized work crews, rotational labor, and supportive infrastructure. In Mesoamerica, similar logistical strategies were employed to construct pyramids that now endure as cultural touchstones. In Mesopotamia and China, monumental works necessitated centralized authority, religious motivation, and communal effort. The repetition of these patterns underscores an essential truth. Human societies, regardless of location or era, harnessed ingenuity, discipline, and shared purpose to achieve feats far exceeding what any single individual could accomplish. Intriguingly, many of these structures, like the Egyptian pyramids, contain mysteries that defy full understanding even today. The precision of stone cutting, the choice of materials, and the techniques of transportation often elude modern replication without advanced technology. This sense of the unknown deepens the psychological impact of these monuments, invoking awe, reverence, and curiosity. Across civilizations, the interplay between the observable and the mysterious seems deliberate, a cultural strategy to inspire respect, instill social cohesion, and convey spiritual power. In this way, pyramids and their global counterparts function as both practical and symbolic instruments, operating simultaneously in physical and metaphysical dimensions. The similarities extend to artistic motifs and iconography, suggesting that monumental architecture serves not only as a functional space, but as a narrative medium. Reliefs, inscriptions, and carvings on Egyptian pyramids, Mesoamerican temples, and Mesopotamian ziggurats communicate cultural values, cosmology, and historical memory. The structures themselves act as storytellers, encoding religious beliefs, political authority, and societal aspirations into stone. Across continents, these architectural narratives reinforce the notion that humans have always sought permanence through symbolism, whether immortalizing rulers, communicating with deities, or preserving collective identity for generations yet to come. It is also worth considering the psychological dimension of scale. Monumental architecture, whether in Giza, Teotihuacan, or Babylon, generates an immediate sense of awe and sublimity. Standing before these massive constructions, humans experience a mixture of reverence, humility, and wonder, a reaction that transcends cultural familiarity. This intentional impact suggests that the architects of antiquity understood the power of physical magnitude to influence perception, reinforcing spiritual and social hierarchies while leaving lasting impressions on the human psyche. In this sense, pyramids, ziggurats, and mounds are not only engineering achievements but also carefully designed instruments of emotional and cognitive resonance. Furthermore, cross-cultural comparison invites reflection on the universality of human curiosity and ambition. Despite differences in language, environment, and technology, societies independently arrived at similar solutions for expressing transcendence and permanence. This phenomenon highlights a shared aspect of human cognition, the desire to extend influence beyond a single lifetime, to negotiate the boundary between mortality and eternity, and to leave enduring marks upon the world. Monumental architecture becomes a mirror of collective human aspiration, revealing that despite temporal and spatial distance, civilizations share profound motivations rooted in mortality, spirituality, and the search for cosmic harmony. Finally, these global echoes encourage viewers to ponder the enduring mysteries of human achievement. Why do societies across the globe consistently gravitate toward pyramidal forms or monumental platforms? How did they achieve such precision with the tools available? To what extent do these structures reflect innate human understanding of geometry, astronomy, and social organization? And perhaps most compellingly, what knowledge or wisdom may have been lost over time, leaving us with incomplete glimpses of ancient mastery? By examining these questions in the context of multiple civilizations, we gain a richer appreciation for both the ingenuity and the humility embedded in these creations. As this section draws to a close, the narrative transitions naturally toward a reflection on the universal human drive for permanence, legacy, and understanding. Viewers are invited to consider the shared cognitive, cultural, and spiritual threads linking disparate civilizations, and to marvel at the ingenuity, dedication, and vision required to manifest these monumental forms. The awe inspired by Egyptian pyramids now resonates with the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, the temples of Mesoamerica, and the mausoleums of Asia, weaving a tapestry of human aspiration that transcends geography and time. This sets the stage for the next section, where we contemplate the philosophical and existential lessons these enduring structures impart, bridging the gap between ancient achievement and timeless wonder. In comparing pyramids with global counterparts, we uncover a profound truth. Monumental architecture is a universal language of awe, spirituality, and aspiration. Across continents, cultures, and epochs, humans have consistently sought to anchor themselves in eternity, to harmonize with the cosmos, and to communicate values and beliefs across generations. The echoes of these civilizations remind us that, while technology may change and empires rise and fall, the desire to touch the divine, to leave a lasting imprint, and to celebrate human ingenuity endures. Pyramids are not isolated wonders. They are chapters in a global narrative, inviting reflection on the limitless potential of human creativity, the depth of cultural wisdom, and the enduring mysteries that continue to inspire curiosity, reverence, and awe. As the sun rises over the desert, casting long shadows across the Giza Plateau, a new kind of exploration begins. No longer is the search for understanding guided solely by speculation, ancient texts, or local lore. Today, modern technology, satellite imaging, ground-penetrating radar, LiDAR scanning, and robotic probes offers a window into the secrets that have been hidden for millennia. Archaeologists and engineers now walk where pharaohs once commanded, not with chisels and sleds, but with sensors, drones, and computational models. The air is filled with a quiet anticipation, as if the stones themselves are aware that their silence is about to be interrogated. Each discovery, each subtle revelation, stirs a sense of awe. How could these immense structures, built thousands of years ago, withstand the test of time while hiding chambers and passageways that modern scientists are only now beginning to detect? In recent years, breakthrough technologies have transformed our understanding of the pyramids. High-resolution satellite imagery has mapped the plateau with unprecedented accuracy, revealing hidden alignments and anomalies in the terrain surrounding the pyramids. These images suggest that the ancient architects may have integrated the landscape itself into the design, placing pyramids in relation not only to celestial points but also to topographical features. Researchers using infrared thermography have detected temperature anomalies along the pyramid surfaces, suggesting the presence of voids or hidden chambers. The excitement is palpable. For decades, speculation about lost rooms or undiscovered burial chambers existed only in theory, yet modern science offers tangible hints of their existence. Ground-penetrating radar has become an invaluable tool, allowing archaeologists to peer beneath layers of stone without disturbing the structures. In the case of the Great Pyramid, teams have identified potential voids and cavities that may indicate previously unknown passageways. Some of these discoveries challenge traditional models of construction and purpose, suggesting that the pyramid's interior may be far more complex than initially thought. These scientific investigations also underscore the precision of the builders. Each cavity, corridor and chamber is positioned with meticulous care, reflecting a level of planning and architectural mastery that continues to astonish modern engineers. The more we learn, the more we realize that the pyramids were not merely tombs. They were complex monuments designed with a sophistication that transcends their era. Robotic explorations have brought the mysteries inside the pyramids closer than ever. Tiny drones and remotely controlled cameras have navigated narrow shafts and hidden corridors, capturing images of surfaces that have remained untouched for thousands of years. Graffiti from workers, faint tool marks and subtle variations in stonework provide insight into the methods, labor organization, and craftsmanship of the builders. Each discovery paints a vivid picture of the human effort behind the colossal stones. The sweat, ingenuity, and coordination required to realize a vision that seems almost otherworldly. These findings bridge the gap between past and present, allowing us to witness the ingenuity of ancient hands through the lens of modern technology. Satellite-based LiDAR scanning has revealed additional layers of precision in the pyramid complexes. By measuring minute differences in elevation and alignment, researchers can detect patterns invisible to the naked eye. Some of these patterns hint at advanced understanding of geometry and astronomy, supporting theories that the Egyptians possessed knowledge that allowed them to align massive structures with remarkable accuracy. Even minor deviations from expected norms carry significance, suggesting ritualistic, symbolic, or functional purposes that continue to puzzle scholars. Every scan, every measurement, generates more questions than answers, reminding us that the pyramids are not static monuments, but dynamic puzzles embedded with intentional complexity. Recent discoveries have also illuminated the logistics and human organization behind pyramid construction. Archaeologists working near the workers' villages have unearthed tools, housing, bakeries, and water distribution systems that reveal how tens of thousands of laborers were fed, housed, and coordinated. These findings challenge older notions that pyramids were built solely by slaves. Instead, evidence points to a highly organized workforce composed of skilled artisans, seasonal laborers, and support communities working under centralized oversight. Modern reconstructions and simulations of workforce management demonstrate that such monumental construction required not only physical effort, but advanced planning, social coordination, and knowledge of supply chains, skills that resonate with contemporary engineering and project management principles. Beyond the practical, modern investigations also shed light on cultural and spiritual dimensions. Analysis of inscriptions, reliefs, and symbolic motifs in hidden chambers offers clues about religious beliefs, funerary practices, and cosmological understandings. Radiocarbon dating, chemical analysis, and microscopic studies reveal details about the materials used, environmental conditions, and even dietary habits of those involved in construction. Every layer of stone, every cavity, and every relic serves as a message from the past, conveying insights about a civilization that prized not only monumental achievement, but also ritual, symbolism, and intellectual pursuit. The integration of science and culture allows us to approach the pyramids as living artifacts, bridging empirical study with humanistic understanding. The thrill of discovery is accompanied by moments of suspense. Hidden voids and unexplored chambers suggest that the pyramids may still guard secrets unknown even to modern science. Some researchers speculate about ritual chambers, symbolic passages, or even chambers containing relics that could redefine our understanding of Egyptian history. These possibilities captivate the imagination while remaining grounded in scientific methodology. Each discovery must be carefully verified, documented, and contextualized, balancing curiosity with respect for both the living and the dead, the past and the present. This delicate interplay between suspense and rigor heightens the narrative, creating a cinematic tension akin to a story unfolding across millennia. Equally fascinating are discoveries beyond Giza. Other pyramids and mortuary complexes in Saqqara, Dahshur, and Abu Rawash offer comparative insights. Advanced imaging and excavation techniques have revealed differences in design, construction materials, and internal organization, illustrating how Egyptian pyramid building evolved over centuries. These variations highlight the ingenuity of different dynasties, their experimentation with techniques, and their adaptation to environmental and logistical constraints. By studying the full spectrum of pyramid complexes, modern researchers can piece together a narrative of innovation, ambition, and continuity that connects the Great Pyramid to a broader architectural and cultural tradition. Furthermore, interdisciplinary studies enhance our understanding. Combining archaeology with geology, engineering, and computer modeling allows for simulations of ancient construction techniques. Virtual reconstructions and 3D models bring to life the process of moving multi-ton blocks, creating precise angles and erecting monumental structures. These models underscore the sophistication of ancient problem-solving and invite viewers to witness the intersection of human creativity, physical capability, and intellectual mastery. Each experiment, simulation, or discovery deepens the suspense, prompting reflection on how much knowledge may have been lost over time, leaving only hints in stone and sand. Modern scientific investigations also raise profound philosophical questions. As we uncover lost chambers, refine our understanding of ancient techniques, and map the precise geometries of these structures, we confront the extraordinary ambition of human beings. The pyramids are more than technical feats. They are testaments to vision, perseverance, and the desire to reach beyond the limits of mortality. In examining the pyramids through the lens of modern science, we recognize that human ambition is timeless. The same drive that led ancient engineers to align massive stones with the stars now compels contemporary scientists to decode those achievements with satellites, radar, and robotics. This continuity of curiosity and aspiration binds past and present, reminding us that the desire to understand, to explore, and to transcend is an enduring aspect of our shared humanity. Each revelation, whether confirming long-held theories or uncovering new anomalies, reinforces the cinematic narrative of the pyramids as living mysteries. We are drawn into the suspense of discovery. What lies beyond hidden chambers? What techniques remain unreplicated? Which symbolic alignments continue to challenge our understanding? Modern archaeology allows us to experience a suspenseful journey through time, where each layer of stone, each sensor reading, and each robotic probe becomes a narrative device, advancing the story while preserving the sense of awe and reverence that these ancient monuments demand. In conclusion, modern investigations transform our perception of the pyramids. No longer are they static relics. They are dynamic enigmas, inviting continual exploration, scientific analysis, and reflection. The fusion of advanced technology with human curiosity illuminates the genius of ancient architects, while preserving the suspense and wonder that have captivated imaginations for centuries. By uncovering hidden chambers, tracing construction methods, and integrating interdisciplinary insights, we gain not only technical understanding, but also a profound connection to a civilization whose ambition, vision, and mastery continue to echo across time. This sets the stage for the next section, where we step back from the tools and measurements to consider the broader philosophical and cultural implications of these monumental achievements, reflecting on human ambition, legacy, and the eternal quest to leave an indelible mark upon the world. As the sun dips low over the Giza plateau, the pyramids cast long, stretching shadows across the sands, reminders of human ambition and mystery intertwined. Standing before these colossal structures, one cannot help but feel a profound sense of awe mingled with quiet unease. For millennia, these monuments have dominated the landscape, their sheer size, precision, and endurance challenging both imagination and understanding. Despite centuries of study, excavation, and scientific exploration, countless questions remain, each more tantalizing than the last. How precisely were these immense structures erected using tools that seem almost primitive by modern standards? How did the builders transport, lift, and align millions of heavy stones with such astonishing accuracy? Every answer seems to reveal yet another layer of complexity, raising more questions about the knowledge, skill, and organizational genius of the ancient Egyptians. Scholars and engineers alike continue to debate the methods employed to move enormous limestone and granite blocks. Some argue for intricate systems of ramps, straight, zigzagging, or spiral, carefully calculated to distribute weight and facilitate movement. Others propose a combination of sleds, lubrication techniques, and coordinated human labor, executed with precision that modern projects could scarcely replicate. Yet despite the ingenuity these theories describe, they fail to capture the full scale of the mystery. The pyramid's enduring symmetry, the exactness of angles, and the alignment with cardinal points and celestial bodies suggest knowledge of mathematics and astronomy that exceeds conventional understanding of the time. Was this knowledge purely empirical, born of centuries of trial and error, or did the ancient Egyptians possess insights that have since been lost to history? The absence of definitive documentation only heightens the suspense, inviting speculation while preserving a deep, reflective reverence for their achievement. Equally perplexing is the question of human labor. Archaeological evidence has uncovered remnants of workers' villages, tools and supplies, revealing an organized, centralized workforce. Yet coordinating tens of thousands of individuals over decades, maintaining precise measurements, and adhering to strict religious or ceremonial protocols remains a staggering accomplishment. How did the Egyptians maintain consistency across generations of workers? How did they solve problems that today would require machinery, advanced logistics, and digital modeling? The more we explore, the more it becomes clear that human determination, ingenuity, and collective willpower were as critical as technical skill. Yet even with this acknowledgement, the question lingers. How did a civilization without modern technology achieve results that continue to challenge engineers and architects today? The endurance of the pyramids, surviving wind, sandstorms, earthquakes, and centuries of human interference, presents another enigmatic layer. Limestone and granite, carefully selected for durability, were quarried, transported, and shaped with extraordinary precision. Yet the question remains, what techniques ensured such longevity? Were there undiscovered methods of preservation, or did the builders possess a uniquely sophisticated understanding of structural engineering? The pyramids' resistance to decay also extends to their internal chambers, corridors, and passageways. Even after millennia, these inner sanctuaries remain largely intact, their alignment and proportions untouched by time. This remarkable preservation heightens the sense of suspense as each inspection, sonar scan, and robotic probe reveals a monument that is at once familiar and profoundly alien, defying expectations and inviting deeper contemplation. Beyond physical construction, the pyramids raise questions about intent and symbolism. Why were they built at such monumental scale? What spiritual, cultural, or political purposes dictated their design? The precise alignment with celestial bodies suggests that astronomy, cosmology, and ritual were interwoven with architecture, yet the full meaning of these connections remains elusive. Were the pyramids intended to serve solely as tombs, or were they gateways to the divine, repositories of esoteric knowledge, or statements of cosmic order? Each theory carries weight, yet none fully accounts for the seamless integration of function, form, and symbolic resonance. The suspense arises not merely from the unknown, but from the depth of thought, ambition, and purpose that must have accompanied their construction, an insight into a civilization whose intellect and vision were as towering as the stones themselves. Modern scientific methods have illuminated some aspects of these questions while deepening others. Ground-penetrating radar, thermal imaging, and 3D reconstruction have uncovered hidden voids, potential chambers, and structural anomalies that were previously undetectable. These discoveries tantalize scholars with glimpses of secrets yet to be fully understood. Could some of these spaces hold artifacts, ceremonial objects, or written records that reveal lost knowledge? Or are they purely structural, intended to distribute weight, manage airflow, or maintain stability? The uncertainty keeps the narrative suspended between history and imagination, compelling the mind to wander through both factual evidence and philosophical reflection. Even the cultural and psychological dimensions remain fertile ground for inquiry. The pyramids were not created in isolation. They were embedded within a complex society, a civilization that blended governance, religion, artistry, and labor. How did belief systems shape construction priorities? How did collective values, spiritual convictions, and societal organization facilitate such a sustained, precise effort over decades? These questions invite reflection on human potential and the interplay between ambition, faith, and ingenuity. The suspense lies not only in what we do not know, but in what we might never fully comprehend. the emotional, intellectual, and spiritual currents that drove ancient Egyptians to conceive of and realize monuments of such enduring magnificence. Comparisons with other monumental achievements deepen the intrigue. Civilizations in Mesoamerica, Mesopotamia, and Asia also built awe-inspiring structures, yet the scale, precision, and alignment of the Egyptian pyramids remain unmatched. What does this reveal about the universality of human creativity? And what does it suggest about the uniqueness of Egyptian knowledge? Are there lost techniques shared across ancient cultures, or do these achievements represent independent flashes of genius? Each question layers additional suspense onto the narrative, inviting viewers to contemplate broader patterns of innovation, ambition, and human curiosity across time and geography. Ultimately, the unanswered questions create an emotional tension that is both reflective and suspenseful. We are drawn to the pyramids not solely for their size or beauty, but for the mysteries they embody. Each hypothesis, scientific study, and historical theory evokes fascination, wonder, and at times frustration. We find ourselves walking the sands alongside archaeologists and explorers, feeling the weight of stones, tracing faint tool marks, and imagining the labor, thought, and devotion required to accomplish what still seems impossible. The suspense is cinematic, unfolding slowly, allowing us to appreciate both the scale of the monuments and the depth of the mysteries they guard. These lingering questions also provoke introspection. They force us to confront the limits of our knowledge and the passage of time, reminding us that some achievements surpass even our modern understanding. The Tome. Pyramids endure not just as relics of a past civilization, but as invitations to reflect on human potential, perseverance, and the enduring allure of mystery. In this sense, the suspense is not frightening but contemplative, inviting viewers to sit with the unknown, to honor it, and to recognize that some mysteries are meant to inspire awe rather than provide immediate answers. As the sun sets behind the horizon, casting long golden shadows over the plateau, we are left with a profound sense of humility. Despite the tools, technology, and knowledge at our disposal, the pyramids continue to challenge comprehension. Each stone, chamber, and alignment is a question carved in time. Every discovery leads to new puzzles, and every mystery that remains invites reflection on human ambition, the passage of civilizations, and the eternal interplay between knowledge and wonder. These questions that remain are not failures of understanding. They are the heartbeat of the pyramids themselves, a reminder that some marvels are meant to endure not merely as monuments, but as eternal catalysts for curiosity, imagination, and reverence. In the quiet of the evening, as shadows grow long and the wind whispers across ancient stones, we realize that the greatest mysteries of the pyramids may never be fully solved. Perhaps that is their enduring power, to inspire awe, to provoke reflection, and to remind us that the pursuit of knowledge is as vital as knowledge itself. The unanswered questions, the precision that defies explanation, and the wisdom embedded in stone and sand are invitations to think, to wonder, and to connect across time with the visionaries of a civilization long past but never forgotten. Each question lingers like the echo of a chant in a hidden chamber, subtle yet persistent, urging us to ponder the impossible, to dream, and to respect the legacy left behind. As we close this chapter of inquiry, the stage is set for the final reflection, where we will contemplate the enduring legacy of the pyramids, the awe they inspire, the lessons they impart, and the eternal invitation they offer to honor, respect, and marvel at the achievements of humankind. These unanswered questions, far from diminishing the pyramid's majesty, amplify it, ensuring that their silent presence continues to resonate, challenge, and inspire all who encounter them. As dawn breaks over the Giza plateau, the first rays of light strike the ancient stones, igniting a golden glow that seems almost otherworldly. The pyramids stand resolute, their silhouettes cutting sharp lines against the vast Egyptian sky, silent witnesses to the passage of millennia. The desert winds carry whispers of the past, rustling grains of sand that have lain undisturbed for centuries. In this moment, the sheer enormity of what has been accomplished becomes impossible to ignore. These structures are more than stone and mortar. They are monuments to human ambition, to vision, and to the intricate interplay of intellect, labor, and faith. The pyramids endure as enigmas, challenging our understanding, inspiring awe, and compelling reflection on the ingenuity of those who dared to imagine something eternal. The construction of these monumental edifices was not merely an architectural feat, but a profound expression of cultural identity and spiritual devotion. Pharaohs, artisans, laborers, and priests all contributed to a shared vision, one that bridged the mortal and divine. Each block of limestone and granite was placed with care, guided by knowledge lost to time and by practices honed over generations. The precision achieved in their alignment to cardinal points and celestial bodies suggests a civilization whose understanding of the cosmos was far more advanced than often credited. It was a fusion of science and spirituality, mathematics and mysticism, work and ritual. Observing the pyramids, one senses that the builders were not simply erecting tombs. They were creating a bridge across time, a statement to the universe of the capacity of human thought and devotion. Even today, the pyramids defy the expectations of engineers and historians. Modern technology allows us to study their internal chambers, measure their angles, and simulate the methods of construction. Yet the sheer mastery of scale and precision continues to inspire debate and fascination. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, with its perfectly aligned base, massive granite blocks, and hidden voids, remains an enduring mystery. Scholars and archaeologists may propose theories, ramp systems, labor organization, or advanced mathematical techniques, but none fully capture the artistry, ingenuity, and determination required to achieve such perfection. Each stone carries the echo of human effort and ambition. Every corridor reflects planning that is at once practical and symbolic. The pyramids are not static. They are stories etched in stone, inviting each generation to ponder, question, and imagine. Their endurance also raises profound philosophical reflections. The pyramids have survived countless natural disasters, sandstorms, and the erosion of time, yet they remain largely intact. They remind us that human ambition, when coupled with vision and precision, can transcend generations. They provoke contemplation of mortality and legacy, inviting reflection on what it means to create something that lasts far beyond one's lifetime. Are these structures meant merely as monuments to pharaohs, or do they stand as a testament to humanity itself, the ability to conceive the impossible and see it realized against all odds? Perhaps the pyramids' true power lies in their dual nature. They are both historical artifacts and metaphors for the limitless potential of human imagination. The spiritual dimension of the pyramids deepens their significance. In ancient Egypt, these structures were more than tombs. They were gateways to the afterlife, expressions of cosmic order, and symbols of the pharaoh's divine mandate. The orientation, proportion, and placement of each pyramid carried symbolic meaning, reflecting a civilization deeply attuned to the rhythms of nature, the stars, and the sacred cycles of life and death. This interplay of religion, astronomy, and architecture illustrates a culture in which knowledge was holistic, where science and spirituality were intertwined rather than separate. The pyramids, in this sense, are philosophical texts in stone, inviting reflection not only on technical mastery, but also on human belief, aspiration, and reverence for the unseen forces that shape existence. The narrative of human effort behind these colossal structures is equally compelling. Tens of thousands of workers, from skilled artisans to seasonal laborers, labored under challenging conditions to create what remains today. They organized, transported, and placed stones weighing several tons, coordinated with precision, and maintained consistency over decades. This remarkable achievement testifies to the power of collective effort, social organization, and shared purpose. It also underscores the subtle balance between authority and collaboration, faith and labor, imagination and execution. Each pyramid is therefore a monument, not only to the pharaohs who commissioned them, but to the countless individuals whose sweat, skill, and dedication transformed vision into reality. Comparisons with other ancient civilizations further amplify the awe they inspire. Across the globe, humans have erected monumental structures: Mesopotamian ziggurats, Mayan pyramids, and Chinese terraced tombs, yet none match the scale, precision, and enduring mystery of the Egyptian pyramids. These comparisons highlight both universal human ingenuity and the distinct genius of the Egyptian civilization. They provoke reflection on the shared impulses of humanity, to create, to explore, to leave a legacy, and to reach toward the divine or unknown. The pyramids, standing solitary in the desert, embody the culmination of these impulses, a singular achievement that resonates across time and culture. Modern investigations continue to shed light on their construction, but every discovery uncovers further mysteries. Robotic explorations of hidden chambers, satellite imaging of the plateau, and analysis of inscriptions reveal new insights into the methods, materials, and labor organization of the builders. Yet even with these breakthroughs, the pyramids retain their enigmatic aura. We are confronted with questions that may never have definitive answers. How were the massive stones lifted with such precision? What tools and techniques were employed that leave no trace in the historical record? How did this civilization harmonize practical construction with cosmic alignment and spiritual intent? The suspense is both intellectual and emotional, drawing viewers into a contemplation of human achievement that is as humbling as it is inspiring. The pyramids' endurance also serves as a meditation on time itself. They have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of civilizations, and the ceaseless march of nature across the desert. They remind us that human creations, when imbued with vision, purpose, and care, can transcend the limitations of mortality. At the same time, they evoke a sense of mystery and humility, a recognition that even the most ambitious human efforts are bound by the rhythms of history and the forces of nature. To stand before them is to confront the duality of human experience, the desire to endure, and the awareness of life's impermanence. Perhaps most profoundly, the pyramids inspire reflection on curiosity and the unknown. They embody questions that persist across millennia. What knowledge has been lost? What secrets lie in hidden chambers, or within symbolic alignments? Why do these structures continue to captivate our imagination? The pyramids do not merely challenge our understanding of ancient engineering, they challenge our conception of human potential, of ambition, and of the interplay between knowledge, belief, and creativity. They invite us to consider what we, as a civilization, might leave behind, and how our own achievements will be perceived by generations yet unborn. In this climactic reflection, the desert, the sky, and the pyramids themselves seem to converge into a single timeless tableau. The golden light of sunrise, the shadows stretching across the sands, the wind carrying whispers of history, all contribute to an atmosphere that is cinematic, reflective, and profoundly emotional. The viewer is encouraged to sit with these feelings, to imagine the builders at work, to ponder the alignment of stones with stars, and to reflect on the human capacity to create wonders that defy time. Every angle, every stone, every hidden passage becomes part of a narrative larger than ourselves, a story of vision, ambition, and enduring mystery. Ultimately, the pyramids endure not simply because of their physical construction, but because of the ideas they embody. They are testaments to the capacity of humans to dream, to organize, to believe, and to achieve beyond what seems possible. They are reminders that legacy is built not only from material, but from imagination, faith, and effort. And they are silent teachers, urging reflection on the mysteries of existence, the fleeting nature of human life, and the eternal reach of human curiosity. As we leave the plateau in thought, carrying the weight of millennia in memory, we recognize that the pyramids do not merely defy time, they define it, shaping the way we think about achievement, endurance, and the intersection of knowledge, culture, and wonder. The Great Pyramid, Khafra's monument, and Menkaura's smaller yet no less awe-inspiring pyramid stand together as a trio of enigmatic witnesses, each telling a story of human vision and perseverance. Shadows stretch, light glints off their surfaces, and the desert remains still a silent guardian of secrets that may never be fully revealed. In their silence, they provoke the most profound reflections on human potential, on the nature of mystery, and on the delicate balance between what is known and what is forever beyond reach. The pyramids' power lies not only in their scale or precision, but in their ability to evoke contemplation, to inspire wonder, and to remind us that some achievements are eternal, enduring as much in the mind and spirit as in stone. In this final section, we embrace the awe, the mystery, and the reflection that the pyramids inspire. They challenge us to imagine, to question, and to honor the ingenuity of those who came before. They remind us that while civilizations rise and fall, ideas, vision, and ambition can achieve a form of immortality, encoded in stone and memory. As we turn away from the plateau, The pyramids remain timeless and resolute, enduring beyond the comprehension of any single age, defying time, and offering to all who observe them a glimpse of the sublime intersection between human aspiration and the eternal desert. As we step back from the shadow of the pyramids, the sun dipping low behind the dunes, we are left with a profound sense of awe and reflection. These colossal monuments, standing steadfast for over 4 millennia, are more than architectural feats. They are enduring symbols of human ambition, intellect, and imagination. Throughout this journey, we have traced the paths of the builders, marveled at their precision, and pondered the mysteries they left behind. We have witnessed the interplay of geometry, labor, spiritual devotion, and astronomical knowledge, all converging into structures that continue to challenge our understanding. The Great Pyramid, with its perfectly aligned blocks, hidden chambers, and celestial orientations, is a testament to what humanity can achieve when vision, skill, and purpose unite. Yet, for all that we have learned, a sense of mystery remains. Each unanswered question, how precisely the massive stones were transported, what rituals guided construction, or what knowledge may have been lost, heightens the grandeur of the achievement rather than diminishes it. In contemplating the pyramids, we confront not only the ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians, but also the limits of our modern understanding. Modern technology, from satellites to robotic explorations, can measure and map, but it cannot fully capture the essence of human determination, cultural intent, and spiritual resonance encoded in stone. Every block seems to whisper of a time when knowledge was integrated, when mathematics, art, and faith were not separate domains but threads woven into a single tapestry of civilization. The pyramids are silent teachers, reminding us that mastery often lies in patience, observation, and collective effort. Their endurance speaks of resilience, not merely of materials but of ideas that persist, inspiring generations long after their creators have passed. We have seen how the workforce, organized with remarkable efficiency, transformed vision into reality. Artisans carved stone with tools simple yet effective. Laborers moved tons of rock across sand and incline. Communities supported this enterprise with food, shelter, and coordination. Each human life contributed to a collective achievement that surpasses individual effort. The pyramids are, in this sense, monuments to collaboration as much as to genius, demonstrating that monumental accomplishments arise not solely from the brilliance of a few, but from the dedication of many. And yet, even as we understand these human dynamics, we are reminded of the lingering unknown. What rituals guided their hands? Which calculations or insights have been lost to history? These mysteries are not failures of knowledge. They are invitations to wonder, to respect, and to imagine. The spiritual and cultural dimensions of the pyramids deepen their significance. Each orientation, each proportion was chosen with reverence, aligning human action with cosmic order. They reflect a civilization attuned to the rhythms of life, death, and the universe itself, where the temporal and eternal intersect. To gaze upon these structures is to sense the presence of ideas and beliefs that transcend mortality, echoing across centuries to reach us today. The pyramids invite contemplation of mortality, ambition, and legacy, challenging us to consider the purpose behind creation and the nature of human aspiration. In this light, they are not simply tombs or relics. They are philosophical statements, posing questions as enduring as the stones themselves. Cross-cultural comparisons highlight the universality of human ingenuity. Across the globe, civilizations have sought to leave their mark through monumental architecture. Ziggurats in Mesopotamia, stepped pyramids in Mesoamerica, terraced tombs in China. Yet the Egyptian pyramids remain unparalleled in scale, precision, and mystery. They remind us that while human societies may differ in time, place, and culture, the desire to transcend mortality, to create something enduring, and to seek understanding beyond the immediate is universal. In studying these structures, we recognize a shared thread of curiosity, ambition, and reverence that defines humanity itself. Modern investigations continue to reveal new facets, yet each discovery opens new questions. Hidden chambers, refined stonework, and intricate alignment hint at knowledge and techniques we may never fully comprehend. This duality of revelation and enduring mystery is what gives the pyramids their eternal fascination. They teach that some questions are not meant to be answered definitively, that some knowledge carries the weight of generations and may be lost or intentionally concealed. And in this there is profound beauty. To stand before the pyramids is to feel both the certainty of human achievement and the humility of our limitations, a rare combination that inspires reflection and admiration. Ultimately, the pyramids endure as symbols of balance between known and unknown, ambition and restraint, mortality and eternity. They challenge us to respect the work of those who came before, to marvel at their ingenuity, and to embrace the mysteries that remain. They remind us that not all knowledge is immediately accessible, that some truths exist beyond our reach, and that the act of wondering is as valuable as the act of knowing. In this sense, the pyramids are alive, not in motion but in resonance, carrying meaning, inspiration, and questions across time. They invite us to reflect not only on the past, but on our own place in history, our capacity for creation, and the mysteries that will endure long after we are gone. As we conclude this exploration, it is clear that the pyramids are more than monuments. They are eternal dialogues between humanity and the universe. They speak of ambition, labor, vision, and spirituality, yet they also preserve silence, inviting the mind to imagine, question, and wonder. The grandeur of human achievement is intertwined with the enigma of the unknown, and it is precisely this combination that leaves us breathless, inspired, and reflective. Their stones are timeless, their alignment deliberate, and their meaning profound, reaching into our consciousness to remind us of the extraordinary potential of human endeavor. In embracing both what is known and what remains forever mysterious, we are called to cultivate respect, curiosity, and awe. The pyramids do not surrender all their secrets. They offer glimpses and insights, yet preserve their most profound mysteries. And it is in this preservation that they teach perhaps the most important lesson, that some things are greater, more powerful, and more beautiful precisely because they remain untouchable, eternal, and beyond full comprehension. As the sun finally dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the desert sands, we carry these reflections with us. The pyramids continue to rise above the plateau, resilient, majestic, and enigmatic. They remind us that human curiosity, creativity, and determination can achieve wonders that endure far beyond our lifetimes. Yet they also remind us that some mysteries are meant to inspire reverence, to evoke wonder, and to remain partially hidden, for in the unknown lies the essence of human imagination. In this quiet, in the stillness of the desert and the echo of ancient labor, we understand that the pyramids' greatest gift is not simply their physical form, but their ability to teach us humility, to spark curiosity, and to illuminate the boundless potential of human endeavor. The pyramids endure, eternal and untouchable, inviting every generation to look upon them with awe, to question, to imagine, and to reflect. They are timeless reminders that while knowledge may be sought, wonder is eternal, that while human hands can shape stone, imagination shapes civilizations, and that while some truths may remain hidden, the pursuit of understanding and the reverence for mystery defines the very essence of what it means to be human.